So, a very, very good evening to all of you and welcome to the class today. So, we have been discussing clubbing income, basically income of other persons included in SSC's total income and set off and carry forward in our previous classes. Today's class would be all about understanding set off and carry forward के कुछ peculiar provisions. Along with that, we'll try that in the second half, we pick up your very important chapter, which is deductions from gross total income. So before going on to deductions from gross total income, let's dedicate this 1 hour or so for your set of carry forward के remaining provisions, and then we'll proceed. A very, very good evening to all of you. Does anyone has any queries from the previous class? Please feel free to ask, and then we can proceed. I think
Good.
last. Hi, Ginny. How are you?
I'm good, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the last lecture, you have taught us the section 71.
Hmm.
So, yeah, this 6 point losses under the head of 35 AD. Uh,
Hmm.
and I'm not able to understand this whether in 35 BAC 1 the एनी सेट ऑफ करना अलाउड नहीं है किसी और हेड में जब 35 बीएससी को वो ऑप्ट आउट कर
35
दे
115 BSc.
115 बीएससी को वो ऑप्ट आउट कर दे तब उसको अलाउड नहीं है यानी मैं थोड़ा समझ नहीं पाई इसको
See, when you are filing return under 115 BAC, आपको specified businesses का 3580 का deduction is not allowed. Okay?
हाँ
जब आप 115 BAC स्पेशल कंसेशनल रिजीम फॉलो करते हो तो 3580 का जो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर वाला पार्ट है दैट इज नॉट अलाउड. ओके.
हम्म
सो उससे रिलेटेड कोई अगर अब फर्स्ट ईयर आई वाज नॉट फॉलोइंग 115 BAC, नाउ आई एम फॉलोइंग 115 BAC, तो उससे भी कोई रिलेटेड कैरी फॉरवर्डेड लॉस होगा दैट वुड लैप्स क्योंकि 3580 इज नॉट अलाउड एंड 115 BAC. But now, if you opt out of 115 BAC, opt out matlab you are paying tax as per the normal regimes.
हम्म
Then 3580 ka loss can be set off A, and it can be set off only with specified business income. That's it.
ओके मैम
अब एक बार ये लाइन दोबारा पढ़ो. In case of an assessee exercising the option of shifting out of the default tax regime provided under section 115 BAC, यानी अब वो normal regime से he will
हाँ
be paying tax. Loss from specified business referred to in section 3580 can be set off against income from any other specified businesses. बस. So the condition is specified business to specified business only, speculative business to speculative business only, long-term capital gain loss to only long-term capital gain. ये सारी चीजें you have to remember.
ओके
Always remember restriction is on the loss. Loss cannot be adjusted with specific types of income. Restriction is not on income. So suppose I have a loss from non-specified business, I can adjust it with specified business income. Okay.
यस
So always remember कि restriction is on losses to be adjusted. You can utilize their incomes to adjust other losses unimpliedly.
ओके मैम एक्चुअली
Perfect?
वो फर्स्ट लाइन में मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गई इसीलिए
No, no problem.
थैंक
Break करके जब भी ऐसा कुछ हो, just break it and read that again. Okay?
यू ओके मैम थैंक यू
Anyone has any other doubt? How can we join through Zoom? So Ankita is asking, how can we join through Zoom? Does the tech team want to answer on this? Or Jeannie, can you answer? How can any student join through Zoom?
मैम एक्चुअली हमारे पास तो मेल आया हुआ था आई थिंक उनके पास भी आया होगा बट जो हमारा बॉस का पोर्टल है ना
Hmm.
बीओएस का वहां पर भी हमें लिंक दी हुई है वो इम्पोर्टेंट जो अनाउंसमेंट है ना उसमें भी
Hmm.
एक मैसेज के थ्रू सारी लिंक्स प्रोवाइड की गई है जूम की
Perfect. Thank you.
यानी जो हमें मेल आया था वही सारा पूरा का पूरा वहां पे कॉपी पेस्ट है
Great. Ankita, please refer to that. Otherwise, you can be in touch with us through the BOS, this query portal, or through Zoom, or even through YouTube. So do not worry, your query would not go unanswered. Okay, so now let's begin with the topic today. Now, 1 second. Now, remember one thing, students, the journey of incurring of losses is that in the year one itself, you will incur the loss. Okay, whichever year it is, you will first adjust it with same head, different source, which is called intra-head adjustment. Then you will adjust it with different head in the same incurring of loss year. Incurrence of loss is very important. And then you will, if still after applying the restrictions provisions, there is still losses which cannot be set off. Cannot be set off, matlab, cannot be settled or adjusted with the income. Those losses do not get lapsed. Those losses are carry forwarded. Those losses are carry forwarded. Yes, having said that, certain types of losses are not allowed when it comes to gambling, etc., or you cannot adjust your losses with respect to undisclosed income, etc. But considering other things, these is the main first 2 points. Now, from year two, the journey of carry forward and set off starts. So first you set it off, then it is not set it off, you carry it forward. Now, once you carry it forward, it becomes year two ka brought forward loss. Now, general rule says that once you brought forward it, you can only adjust with same head. So house property ka loss if carry forward would only be adjusted with house property income. Business loss carry forward only with business income. Capital gain loss carry forward only with capital gain income. And when you are adjusting within the same head, those restrictions which we studied for intra head always apply. वो जो इंट्राहेड का restrictions है that would apply definitely, but now once you carry forward it, general rule says you can have to adjust it with the same head of income only. Unabsorbed depreciation clearly does not apply, but otherwise it applies. So one thing here is very, very, very important is that once you're carry forwarding the loss, that is from year one to year two and so on, to carry forward the loss, return filing is mandatory and that too within the due date. So section 139 subsection 1 may, which is within the due date, you have to file the return to carry it forward. To carry it forward, and due date ke under ही you have to file the return. Belated return में carry forward of losses would not be allowed. So file the return within the due date so that these losses which are unsettled now or are not set off can be carried forwarded. Question can come to confuse you. Whether return filing, can I just think of this question very carefully? Can I set off the losses in a belated return? Yes or no? Can I, in the year when the losses are incurred, can I set off those losses in the belated return? Yes or no? So the question is, in belated return, can I set off the losses?
No, no, ma'am. As you have said, if
Hmm.
the return has not been filed within the due date, the carry forward will not be allowed.
Very right. I have said that. If the return is not filed within the due date, the carry forward, that is from year one to next year, year two would not be allowed. That is from the incurred year to next year would not be allowed. This is exactly what I've said. But
Hmm.
if I'm filing a belated return, if I'm filing a belated return, the carry forward definitely would not be allowed, but the set off in the same year can be allowed. That means this adjustments can be allowed in the belated return, right? I
Okay.
can make an intra-head adjustment. I can make an inter-head adjustment in the year of incurrence of loss. But yes, if still any loss is left, that would not be carry forwarded in belated return. That is the point. So you understood, Ginny, the difference? आप set off कर सकते हो, but आप carry forward नहीं कर सकते if you're filing a belated return.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes.
Clear? Now, that being said again, there is certain exception. That means even if I'm filing a belated return, I can carry forward two types of losses. That means even if I'm filing a return late, still I can carry forward two type of losses. That is loss of house property and loss coming from unabsorbed depreciation. Not business loss, unabsorbed depreciation. Because I told you in the last class, when we are talking about business losses, you segregate unabsorbed depreciation from it and then you talk about business loss separately. unabsorbed depreciation separately. Reason being, unabsorbed depreciation provisions are under Section 32 of the Income Tax Act, subsection 2, and generally business losses are carry forward of business losses is dealt under Section 72. Okay, so what did I say again? I'll say that loss from house property and unabsorbed depreciation can be carry forwarded even if I'm filing a belated return. So now any such question can come from this scenario either in a form of MCQ or a comment question, like one which is written on the screen. Belated return me, can I set off the losses? You say yes, I can set off the losses in the year which I've incurred through intra-head adjustments and inter-head adjustments, but I cannot carry it forward. But again, having said that, in the belated return, we can carry forward our house property losses and unabsorbed depreciation. This would be a full-fledged answer. Sorted? And a question easily can come from this. All of these things regarding carrying forward of return through carrying forward of losses through filing a return, all these restrictions are given under section 80 कि किसके लिए return mandatory है या नहीं. Now this is what carry forward is. Now once the loss is carry forward, we will now understand कि carry forward करने में क्या क्या restrictions हैं. So now once you carry forward it, there are, I told in the last class also, there are different sections for each type of loss. So like section 71B is for house property loss. Section 72 is for normal business loss. Section 73, speculative business. Section 73A, basically so on, is for specified business. Section 74 is for capital gain, both long-term and short-term. Section 74A is for owning and maintaining racehorses. इसके अलावा, if you think there is no other loss that you can otherwise take forward. And section 32(2), which is for basically unabsorbed depreciation. Sorry for the handwriting. I hope you can manage. So these provisions will deal with how once you carry forward the loss has to be adjusted. Yani once you carry forward house property loss, so then you will write section 71B of the Income Tax Act deals with carry forwarding of house property loss. As per section 71B, so and so thing is said. Normal business loss, specified business loss, and so on. Now remember one thing. इसके अलावा there is amalgamation and demerger also, which we'll come to once we understand these basic provisions. Okay, so shall we begin? Now, house property loss का क्या है? Simple है. House property loss, once carry forwarded, can only be adjusted with house property income. House property में loss कब होगा? Either when you have self-occupied property or you have rental property, but उसका interest on loan is a lot, right? A lot means more than the income you're having, right? And then once you set it off and then you adjust it max with 2 lakhs of other heads, still you are getting certain amount which you cannot adjust, then you will have a house property loss carry forwarded, correct? So house property income kuch hoga, only from that you can settle it, and maximum loss which you can carry forward is for 8 years. 8 years from the end of the assessment year in which the loss was incurred. Maximum 8 years tak you can carry forward it. So year 1 ka loss will go for the next 8 years to be carry forwarded. Usse bhi adjust nahi hua, it will get lapsed. It will get lapsed. So it's always a common sense. And now, in fact, the software is also like this. And suppose I have year 1 may be loss, year 2 may be loss, year 3 may be loss. Okay. Now year 4 may I have an income. Suppose this is 6 lakhs loss. This is 4 lakhs loss. And this is again, say 2,50,000 loss. Okay. And now year 4 may I have income of say 5,50,000. So the sense would go not to adjust to 254 and 6. The sense is always to adjust the loss which has been incurred first. So now when in year 4, I'll be carry forwarding this as per section 71B, and I will adjust in the year 4 income. All of these are house property losses and income. So first I will adjust year 1 loss. Why? Because every loss can be maximum in carry forwarded to 8 assessment years. So year 1 का loss 1, 2, 3, then year 5, 6, 7 and 8 तक जाएगा. Sorry, year 9 तक जाएगा, right? उसके बाद that will get lapsed. So that's why first loss, FIFO basis पे loss which has been incurred first should be adjusted first. And this applies not only for house property but for other losses also, because almost each loss has a restricted time period for it to be carry forwarded. Clear? Then whether return filing is mandatory on time to carry forward this loss, the answer is no. The answer is no. Clear? So please quickly go through the provisions. And yes, house property loss तब भी हो सकता है if you're filing 115 BSC. Remember, inter-head adjustment में we told that if you're opting for your concessional tax regime, you cannot adjust your house property loss. It can only be carry forwarded. Right? House property loss with any other head cannot be adjusted. It can only be carry forwarded. So तब भी loss आ सकता है. So now quickly read section 71B. And अगर कहीं doubt है, just let me know.
Ma'am, I
Yes.
have written related to the Zoom link over the chat.
Yeah. I just saw. So, Ankita, if you're reading, BOS announcement of 4th September 2024 has all the Zoom links. And everyone, if you want to refer to it, please refer it. Perfect. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. Anyone has any doubt? Sorted? If house property law sort of thing is clear, meanwhile you read it, go through illustration 1 quickly. Whenever you're reading these questions and doing this question, see how it is presented also, because very rare, trust me, a question like this will come, to be very honest, where you just have to tell the adjustment impact. But if it comes, you should know how it is presented, okay? There's income from salary, 4,20,000, loss from let out property, business loss, and bank FD interest received. Okay. He has exercised, you have to tell the income of assessment year 25-26, assuming he has exercised the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. Now, one thing students remember, these types of question can be a part of your big adjustment of PGBP question of 16 marks. Okay. And वहां पे obviously the main focus is always on computing the income, but remember you show it very clearly the amount of losses which are to be carry forwarded. ठीक है, that is how your answer would be complete. ये नहीं कि आपने income से ही compute कर दिया and nowhere you have shown the losses which would be carry forwarded etc. neither in notes neither anywhere, so वो गलत हो जाएगा. Okay, so please remember all these small points in relation to presentation. Now income from salary is 420, loss from house property hai, business loss, etc. So first of all, see, I cannot adjust my business loss with salary loss, and we have to see he has exercised the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. Shifting out clearly likha hai, that means he is following the normal regime. 420 minus 120 मत कर देना. 420 minus
2 lakhs.
230. You can adjust. No, not 230. 420
Only
minus
2
2
lakhs.
lakhs. Very good. So this is 220 which is left, and you can adjust 120 and 85,000 definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Only up to 85,000.
Yes, because that is the maximum income we have. Very good. So remaining 35,000 ka loss would be carry forwarded, and 30,000 ka house property loss would also be carry forwarded. So the net income would be 220. Correct? When we are paying tax as per the old regime. Now, if you're paying tax as per the default regime, then it is like I cannot adjust the house property loss. I can only adjust the income of, the loss of business from the FD income. So here, net income would be 420 and 230 would be your carry forward loss of house property, and 35,000 would be your carry forward loss of your business income. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
They're computed. Now let's understand, this is actually important out of every section of carry forward. Business losses are extremely important. Now, if I have to say it in an easy language before going much into detail, in this same table which I can make for you. So section 72 talks about normal business loss. Section 73 talks about अच्छा दोनों एक साथ लिख दिया. Speculative business loss, and section 73 talks about specified business loss. अब तीनों में फर्क क्या है? This is about normal business loss, यानी नॉन स्पेकुलेटिव बिजनेस से आपको if you have any loss, you can adjust it with any business income. Any business income means I can adjust it with my specified business income also, I can adjust it with my speculative business income also, and I can obviously adjust it with my non-speculative income also. So any business income, and the normal business loss can be maximum carry forward for 8 years. Maximum carry forward for 8 years. But if I have to carry forward the loss from 1 year to another, I have to make sure that the return is filed within the due date. That is mandatory. This is the simplest provision. Now, section 73. So can be three types of loss: normal, speculative, and specified. The specified business loss you can only carry forward and adjust it with speculative business loss you can only carry forward and adjust it with speculative business income. Maximum period which is allowed here is 4 years. And obviously return filing is mandatory. This is the basic point. Now, specified business loss again, you can settle on with specified business income. Now, यहाँ पे one point is very interesting, and this is covered in PGBP also, I guess, and here also. See, they have written that you have to adjust the specified business loss with specified business income. Specified business कौन से है? Section 35 AD में you have given the entire list of cold storage, warehousing facility, hospital beds, new infrastructure facilities, slum developments, hotels with the minimum 2 stars. So that is all given there, correct? So it is not necessary that if I have to adjust the specified business loss, I have to adjust it with the specified business income, which is taking the benefit of 3580. So giving you an example here, please listen carefully. Suppose I have a specified business loss of 5 lakhs. Okay, from a warehousing facility of sugar. Okay. But also I have a hospital income, an hospital with at least 120 beds I have, okay? And वहाँ पे income is 7 lakhs. But in this hospital wala income, I am not claiming 3580. I'm not eligible for claiming 3580. Maybe to get the benefit of 3580, the operation should start after 2000 something. And I started this hospital business in 1999 or 1995. So even if this is a specified business, even if this is also a specified business, but this is since not eligible because of it it may not be claiming 3580 or it is not eligible because of its operation starting date, but still it's a specified business. I can adjust the losses. I can adjust the loss. So I can adjust this 5 lakhs with 7 lakhs and 2 lakh would be my net income. Right. This happens for intra-head adjustment also and your next year carry forward adjustment also, because in specified business and speculative business there is no inter-head adjustment, if you remember. Okay. So coming to the carry forward part again, please listen carefully. Specified business loss has to be adjusted only with specified business income. The specified business income with which you are adjusting may or may not be an income which is claiming the benefit of 3580 or not, but it's a specified business that is important. Nature of business is important. Whether you are claiming 35 AD or not from that business is a secondary thing. Okay. So once I have claimed this, no problem. And if the losses are not sufficient enough, I can carry it forward. I can carry it forward to indefinite period. So there is no restriction on carrying it forward. There is no restriction on carrying it forward. And yes, filing the return is mandatory within the due date. Within the due date. अब infinite period क्यों दिया हुआ है? Because the idea of giving the benefit under 3580 is to give you the benefit of capital expenditure. Now, if you see these projects are like a lot of capital intensive projects which are covered at a specified business fiscal list. Now, obviously, since there are a lot of capital extensive project, losses would be higher, and initially you don't get income, right? So losses would be higher in the years because you are claiming capital expenditure as deduction, correct? So if you're claiming capital expenditure as deduction, your losses would be higher, and initial year may you're not generating much income. So naturally, the losses would not be able to set off, correct? So, what would be the point of giving the benefit of specified business losses to adjust when you have put a time limit of 4 years or 8 years to it? Because initial years में तो वैसे भी loss at income would not be there. So how would I adjust the loss? So to make the section not absurd, यानी उसका inherent benefit देना है कि हाँ, we want you to take the benefit of capital expenditure as deduction. They have not put any restrictions on carry forwarding of the specified business loss. इसलिए वो नो लिमिट के बिना indefinite period तक you can adjust. So it is a pretty common sense that if next year I have any business income, or if I have speculative business income or specified business income, first I will adjust the normal business loss or speculative business loss, if whatever is the case. And then only at the last I will adjust specified business loss, because there is no time restriction to it. There is no time restrictions to it. Got it? Clear? अब ये तो जनरल प्रोविजंस हो गए which inter students also understand when it comes to business loss adjustments. Normal business section 72, 73 and 73A specific speculative business and specified business respectively. But what are the other provisions which you have to understand? एक तो I told you that specified business होना जरूरी है. उस specified business में तुम 3580 claim कर रहे हो or not, that is not mandatory. उसके अलावा there are certain points which are given in your book, which now we will pick up one by one. First of all, guys, business losses may remember few things. Business losses में we're talking about 8 years का restriction है, ठीक है? 8 years of business loss का restriction है. Maximum you can carry forward this loss to 8 years. But this will not apply, my friends, to unabsorbed depreciation. Unabsorbed depreciation can be carry forwarded for indefinite period. Unabsorbed depreciation can be carried forwarded to indefinite period. So this is an exception, basically. So business loss को अलग करोगे, unabsorbed depreciation को अलग करोगे. If someone's give you in a question that there is total 15 lakhs of business loss, out of which 4 lakhs is of unabsorbed depreciation. So 4 lakh would be your unabsorbed depreciation and 11 lakh would be your business loss. Please carefully read the questions and their lines, okay? So unabsorbed depreciation पे 8 years का limit नहीं लगता. Similarly, unabsorbed capital expenditure for scientific research पे 8 years का there is no limit. Similarly, unabsorbed capital expenditure for family planning पे भी there is no 8 years का limit. So technically, all of these you will adjust at the end if you have business incomes. You will not adjust it at the beginning of the at the initial stage of adjusting your losses. So पहले क्या करोगे? Always, every year if you have income, you will adjust current year losses. Then you will adjust carry forward losses. Then you will adjust carry forward losses. And carry forward losses, if I talk from the business aspect, so पहले you will adjust your normal business income, then you will adjust your unabsorbed depreciation, unabsorbed capital expenditure for scientific research, and unabsorbed family planning expenditure. Okay, if you have specified business income, then you will adjust pehले normal business losses. But if you have speculative business income, adjust speculative business losses first. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Clear. So these are questions. Keep asking if you have anything in your mind कि किसको कैसे settle in करना है. If you have any possibility coming in up, please feel free to ask. Secondly, 8 years of business loss का limit है, but suppose discontinued businesses, ठीक है? Carefully listen. अब business discontinue हो गया, आपका loss lapse हो गया. I don't have business income any coming up. कोई और business income है भी नहीं, ठीक है? So अब what should I do? The business got lapsed, right? Up, if you remember, Section 41, just think of it. Section 41 had the provisions of deemed income of businesses, like recovery of bad debts, like cessation of any tax liability, all of these income, like balancing charge. Do you remember? All of these incomes were under Section 41. अब ये इनकम अगर बिजनेस डिसकंटिन्यू होने के बाद भी हुई है, if these incomes have been incurred after the business got discontinued, so you can still adjust the loss which was outstanding on the date of discontinue of business even after 8 years. Even after 8 years. So give you an example. ध्यान से सुनना, and this can come as a case study or a question. 2016 में 16-17 में I discontinued my business. ठीक है? उस साल discontinued business में outstanding losses were of 5 lakhs. अब कोई business income हुई नहीं, कुछ नहीं हुआ. Cut to 2024, 25. I recovered bad debts from this year वाला income. कोई case चल रहा था and कोर्ट ने मेरे फेवर में ऑर्डर दिया. Now there was a recovery of bad debts, and recovery of bad debts was of say 3 lakh rupees. Now technically, as per Section 41, any recovery of bad debts which were first taken as an adjustment under Section 36, any recovery of bad debts which were taken as adjustment under Section 36 would be treated as income. Correct? Would be treated as income. So 24-25 may, even if there is no business, still 3 lakh would be treated as income. But as per the benefit and as per Section 72, I can adjust this 3 lakh with 5 lakh, adjust this 3 lakhs with my 5 lakhs, which were outstanding on that date of a discontinued business. Here, the time limit of 8 years would not apply. डिसकंटिन्यूड बिजनेस वाले दिन जो भी बैलेंस पेंडिंग था लैप्स हो, वो तो एडजस्ट कर नहीं सकती क्योंकि बिजनेस इनकम ही नहीं हो रही. तो उसको अगर कल को कोई रिकवरी हुआ या इफ देयर इज एनी इनकम कमिंग फ्रॉम सेक्शन 41, I can adjust it with that. I can adjust it with that. This is the provision allowed. दूसरा discontinuity से related certain other things which you have to remember is that continuity of our business is not an important criteria for adjustment. अब बोलोगे कि मैम ये क्या है? Simple. I was having a losses under business A ठीक है. Now I shut it down business A. There was outstanding loss of say 40 lakhs. ठीक है. I shut it down business A. Now I started business B. A business B is generating income. So there is no restriction that business B के income से I cannot set off my business A का loss. I can. Continuity of business is not a mandatory criteria. See, यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था? I did not have any business income, so this loss naturally got dead to be adjusted. But यहाँ पे I'm telling you, if I have one business which got discontinued, उसके losses are still there to be settled off or carry forwarded, I can carry forward and adjust it with the new business incomes which I'm having. Obviously, 8-year criteria would apply here. 40 lakhs को मैं maximum from the incurrence of the loss, 8 years तक I can carry forward, but it is not mandatory to settle off the loss, the business should be running. To carry forward and set off the loss, the business should be running. Point clear? This point also and this point also?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
These सारे points in the books have been written at different places, so you can read it. Questions at your level would come like this. Question at your level would not come like 8 years and 4 years check karo. These types of question will come. So please try to focus. Another exception which you have to remember is the same assessee has to incur the loss, who has incurred the loss rather, to adjust. Same assessee who has incurred the loss can only adjust the loss. Just 1 second, Ginny. Matlab, suppose Mr. A has been running a business. Now he gift that business to his brother or some other person comes in and he takes up the business. Then whatever losses are there of that business which are being carry forwarded would lapse. Matlab, it would not pass on to Mr. B or anyone who is the successor. General rule says successor cannot adjust the loss of the predecessor. This is the general rule. Okay. The same business loss, which is now being carried on by some other person, cannot be adjusted. But then there is certain, again, exception to this. Exception number 1 is that if you're having a loss by inheritance. Now, suppose A died. Now, A died. Now, A's son, junior A, will carry on the business. He can set off that loss. He can set off that loss. So these are the exceptions. That means even if you're not the same person who has incurred the loss, still you can carry forward it and set it off. So one is the inheritance. If you're getting that business as inheritance. See, if you're getting that business while Mr. A is alive and that business junior A is getting either through gift or A retired, whatever way, that time way, the adjustment of losses would not be allowed. Adjustment of losses only happen when you're getting that businesses through inheritance. That means the person who was predecessor died and now as a will or something, you're getting that business. Then you would be allowed to set off the losses. Carry forward and set it off. Second is that if your predecessor and successor is coming under the scheme of amalgamation and demerger. Amalgamation and demerger की scheme में the resulting company or the amalgamated company would be allowed to set off the losses of the amalgamating company or the demerged company. Though नई वाली companies losses incur नहीं करे, but still they would be allowed to be set off provided they have covered up the conditions which are there under section 72A and 72AA. Okay. Similarly, certain successions of reorganization of business. Again, there is reorganization of business where, जैसे आपने capital gain में भी पढ़ा होगा, exempt transfers where a firm gets converted into company or a successor gets converted into a company, sorry, an individual gets converted into company or a successor into LLP, whatever section 47 में जो provisions थे, relation to exempt transfers, वो वाली conditions जहाँ पे predecessor is now the person who was incurring the loss, now successor is the one who is now the new identity or new entity they would be allowed to be set off the losses provided they have completed all the conditions mentioned. Okay, and last is, which is not important, business reorganization of cooperative banks. I repeat all this again, don't worry. So if cooperative banks are reorganized, then unme again, if there is any change, then also they would be allowed provided they are as per the scheme of section 72 AB. So if I have to say this again, the things which you have to remember is that one, continuity of business is not a mandatory criteria. You can adjust the loss of a discontinued business with the other business. B, same assessee who has incurred the loss can only adjust the loss. But if the successor is someone who has received that business due to inheritance, or is under the scheme of amalgamation and demerger as per section 72A, or under the scheme of any succession of business entity, or under any of your reorganization of a cooperative bank, then the new successor can adjust the business losses of the predecessor. कुछ जगह में for the remaining period है, कुछ जगह में for a fresh 8 years, which I will tell you. ठीक है? Clear? उसके अलावा business losses में all other things which you have to remember is very importantly section 78 हमने cover कर ही लिया most likely, which is successor and predecessor वाला, and section 79. अच्छा, एक पॉइंट सेक्शन 78 में है that inheritance से whatever you receive you can set it off. हाँ, एक है retirement से related point. Again, this can come as a adjustment or case study question, or if any partner retires or get deceased. So whatever share this particular partner का था उस loss में, that share, my friend, would not be allowed to be carried forwarded. It would lapse. So suppose the standing business losses on the date of retirement of Mr. X was 15 lakhs and Mr. X hold 1/3 of the profit sharing ratio. Okay. So 5 lakhs of losses would now be lapsed. Only 10 lakh would be allowed to be carried forwarded by the firm. Only 10 lakh would now be allowed to be carried forwarded by the firm. Got it? This is when the person who is retiring or the partner is retiring or partner is deceased. Now coming to section 79. Now this is a very, very, very important section. Can have your attention please. And why I'm doing it with business losses? Because उससे ही related है majorly. Though it is applied general also, but this is majorly related to that. I'll quickly come to section 79 on your screen too. Carry forward in set-off of losses in case of closely held companies.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
May I ask my question?
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, in the earlier example, you have tell about if the company has discontinued, then also the loss can be set off with the another
Business
income
income.
from the
Business income.
that company, business income from that company or any other the same head company, is it?
Same head company means, Ginny, see,
यानी
I can have two different businesses. One business is discontinued, but it has standing losses. I can adjust it with my other business.
हाँ
ठीक है, सिंपल सा.
यस यस मैम बट यानी आपने जो वो एग्जांपल बताया था ना जिसमें एक डिसकंटिन्यूड कंपनी का 16-17 में 5 लाख लॉस था एंड 24-25 में बैड डेट रिकवरी हुआ 3 लाख रुपीज, तो उसका सेट ऑफ हो गया 24-25 में, तो
इवन
फिर
इफ वो 8 years का कंडीशन फिर भी लैप्स हो गए तब भी.
हाँ तो जो बाकी का 2 लाख रुपीज है, तो अगर नेक्स्ट जो हमारा कंटिन्यूड ऑपरेशन है उसमें अगर इनकम होता है तो फिर
नहीं
वो
नहीं नहीं,
अलाउड नहीं होगा ना?
सिंपल, हाँ वो अलाउड होगा. सी सिंपल सा है. सपोज आई हैव 5 lakhs का बिजनेस लॉसेस. ठीक है, इफ आई हैव एनी, ये कंटिन्यू होते रहेंगे इफ आई हैव एनी बिजनेस इनकम टू एडजस्ट. ठीक है, एंड मैक्सिमम ये 8 years तक कंटिन्यू होंगे फ्रॉम द इंकरेंस डेट. ठीक है, नॉट फ्रॉम द डिसकंटिन्यूटी डेट. फ्रॉम द
हम्म
इंकरेंस डेट द लॉसेस कैन बी एडजस्टेड फॉर मैक्सिमम 8 years. अब
यस
सपोज करो थर्ड ईयर में जाके, ईयर 3 में जाके आई शट डाउन माई बिजनेस.
हम्म
ठीक है, अब आई शट डाउन माई बिजनेस. सिनेरियो क्या हो सकता है? ए सिनेरियो हो सकता है दैट आई हैव एनी अदर बिजनेस इनकम, तो आई कैन एडजस्ट इट फॉरवर्ड. ठीक है, तो ईयर 3 से फिर 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 तक गया, दैट्स इट, एंड आई कैन एडजस्ट इट. बट सपोज करो ईयर 3 के बाद आई डिड नॉट हैव एनी बिजनेस इनकम, आई वेंट टू डू सैलरी जॉब. ठीक है,
यस मैम
ओके. अब आज एंड वो एक केस चल रहा था एंड प्रोबेबली आफ्टर 6-7 years आई गॉट माई मनी बैक, और 8 years और 9 years और 10 years बैक इवन. ठीक है, अब आज वो मनी मिला है. ठीक है, 3 लाख, ये किस रिलेटेड मिला है? इस डिसकंटिन्यूड बिजनेस के
डिसकंटिन्यूड
रिलेटेड.
बिजनेस से
ठीक है, अब डिसकंटिन्यूड बिजनेस से रिलेटेड मिला है तो नेचुरली 41 सेक्शन कहता है कि इवन इफ द बिजनेस इज डिसकंटिन्यूड स्टिल इट वुड बी ट्रीटेड एज बिजनेस इनकम. ठीक है,
यस
नाउ नेचुरली ये इस बिजनेस से मिला है और इस बिजनेस का एक कहीं कोने में एक कोई लॉस पड़ा हुआ था अनएडजस्टेड, वो
यस
मैं एडजस्ट कर सकती हूँ.
ओके
सिंस आई डिड नॉट हैव एनी बिजनेस इनकम तो वो कैरी फॉरवर्ड ही नहीं हुआ.
यस मैम
दैट आई कैन एडजस्ट इट इवन आफ्टर 8 years पीरियड.
इट मीन्स अगर इसी बिजनेस से हमें भविष्य में भी कोई इनकम होती है तो हम सेट ऑफ कर सकते हैं, अगर और दूसरे बिजनेस के साथ हम सिर्फ 8 इयर्स तक ही सेट ऑफ कर सकते हैं.
करेक्ट, राइट,
ओके
करेक्ट,
क्लियर मैम.
perfect.
थैंक यू मैम.
Anyone has any doubt in this particular points? Because these two are very, very important points. Sure? Okay, so now we come to section 79. Section 79 क्या कहता है? Closely held company से related, they have put certain restrictions. Why they have put restrictions? Because ultimately क्या होता है closely held company में, they can change ownerships like anything, कोई discipline नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. So to carry forward the losses and adjust it, they have said that if you want to adjust the loss, if you want to adjust the loss, then in the year of incurrence, देन इन द ईयर ऑफ लॉस, जिस साल लॉस इनकर हुआ एंड जिस साल आप उसे सेट ऑफ कर रहे हो, इट कैन बी एनी ईयर, इट कैन बी इमीडिएट नेक्स्ट ईयर, इट कैन बी आफ्टर 3 years, 4 years, वेन एवर यूर सेटिंग ऑफ दैट लॉस. ठीक है, उस साल मतलब कंपेयरिंग दिस एंड कंपेयरिंग दिस, एटलीस्ट 51% of the voting powers should, 51% of the shareholding should be same. Suppose year of loss में A, B, C and D were 4 shareholders of 25% each. ठीक है, बट इन द ईयर ऑफ सेट ऑफ, अब सपोज करो पहले साल लॉस हुआ, नेक्स्ट ईयर भी लॉस हुआ, बट नेक्स्ट ईयर नाउ बिजनेस इनकम इज हैपनिंग, सो दैट इज द ईयर ऑफ सेट ऑफ, राइट. अब उस डेट पे व्हेन वी सॉ द शेयर होल्डिंग, वी सॉ A, B, C and E. Now A is 30% shareholder, B is 10% shareholder, C is 5% shareholder, or you can say, हाँ, and E now is 55% shareholder. So अब ईयर ए एंड ईयर ए मतलब ईयर ऑफ लॉस में एंड ईयर ऑफ कैरी सेट ऑफ में, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट कैरी फॉरवर्ड. अब जब आपने अल्टीमेटली जिस साल सेट ऑफ करना है, उस केस में इफ यू सी द शेयर होल्डिंग गॉट चेंज फॉर मोर देन, और द शेयर होल्डर एटलीस्ट 51% ऑफ द शेयर होल्डिंग हैज चेंज्ड. यस, अब डी एकदम हटके ई केम इनटू पिक्चर, द शेयर होल्डिंग पैटर्न हैज चेंज्ड, so you cannot adjust it. You cannot adjust it. You can carry it forward to the next year. Till that time, at least 51% shareholding is same in the year of loss and in the year of set off, but you cannot adjust it. You cannot adjust this. And this is the same thing which is written here. No loss incurred in any prior to the previous year shall be carried forwarded and set off against the income of the previous year unless on the last day of the previous year, the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% of the voting powers were beneficially held by the person who beneficially held the shares of the company carrying not less than 51% of the voting powers on the last day of the years or years in which the losses incurred. यानी जिस साल लॉस इनकर हुआ उस ईयर के लास्ट डे पे व्हाट वाज द शेयर होल्डिंग वर्सेस जिस साल यू आर सेटिंग ऑफ द लॉसेस उस ईयर के लास्ट डे पे व्हाट वाज द शेयर होल्डिंग. If there is the shareholders are not same up to the extent of 51%, you cannot adjust it. At least 51% people should be the same shareholding. And if 49% से ज्यादा change आया, you cannot allow the set off. Year of loss में and year of set off में. अब सपोज करो ईयर 3 में दिस वाज द शेयर होल्डिंग, बट बैक नेक्स्ट ईयर फिर से शेयर होल्डिंग सेम हो गई, एबीसीडी की सेम हो गई. सो नाउ ईयर ऑफ लॉस एंड ईयर ऑफ सेट ऑफ में फिर सेम हो गया, देन यू कैन एडजस्ट इट. सो अल्टीमेटली यू जस्ट डोंट हैव टू थिंक अबाउट व्हाट इज द शेयर होल्डिंग हैपनिंग लास्ट ईयर व्हाटएवर. You just have to pick 2 years. One is the year, last date of the year when the loss was incurred. Second is the last date of the year when you're setting it off. Compare the shareholding and see if it is 51% same, it can be set off. If it is not same, it cannot be set off. इस बीच में जितनी मर्जी शेयर होल्डिंग अप डाउन हो रही है does not matter. Just compare the 2 years in which you are actually incurring and actually setting it off. Got it? This is section 79.
Ma'am, set of year means 8th year.
Set off year can be any year in which ultimately you have a business income and now you are setting it off.
Okay. तो अगर इस ईयर में जैसे कि आपने बताया एबीसीडी का सेम है तो 51% से यानी ज्यादा ही है, और नेक्स्ट ईयर में ये पूरा पैटर्न चेंज हो जाता है तो सेट ऑफ नहीं कर सकते.
नेक्स्ट ईयर नहीं, कोई भी ईयर जिसमें आप सेट ऑफ करने चाहते थे. अब सपोज करो ईयर 1 में यू हैड अ लॉस ऑफ 40 lakhs, ठीक है. ईयर 2 में अगेन यू हैड अ लॉस of say 10 lakhs. ठीक है. नाउ ईयर 3 में यू हैड अ प्रॉफिट ऑफ 5 lakhs, ठीक है. अब टेक्निकली यू विल से कि मैम आई कैन एडजस्ट द लॉस. डेफिनेटली यू कैन एडजस्ट द लॉस, बिजनेस लॉस है, यू कैन डेफिनेटली एडजस्ट इट, ठीक है. बट सिंस यू आर अ क्लोजली हेल्ड कंपनी, क्लोजली हेल्ड कंपनी कौन से होते हैं इन विच पब्लिक आर नॉट सब्सटैंशियली इंटरेस्टेड. In simple words में saying private company, but there is a full list which we saw in the first class of this particular batch where we discuss कि closely held companies में कौन होंगी, निधि companies are out of the scope, ये सारी ठीक है, section 8 companies, all of these, ठीक है. So coming to the concept of closely held company, अब year 3 में मुझे loss set off करने, technically I can do it, all conditions fulfill, but before setting off I have to see who all are the shareholders here on the last date and who all were the shareholders here when the loss was incurred. ठीक है. अगर शेयर होल्डिंग के हिसाब से there has been more the 51% of the shareholders have changed or 51% of the shareholders are not same, rather this should be the language. Then I cannot adjust it. Even if I have a loss, even if everything is there, I cannot adjust this particular loss. I have to carry forward to the next year. Till that time, at least 51% shareholding comes same of the year of loss and of the year of set off.
मैम ये हम इसको टोटल कंसीडर करेंगे ना, भले यानी ए का 25 से 30 हो गया, बट एग्रीगेट एबीसी क्योंकि
टोटल आप देखोगे कि 51% शेयर होल्डर सेम है या नहीं है. एबीसी कंपेयर, अब जैसे इसमें क्या था, ए बी सी डी पहले 25 था. हाँ, बट यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, डी पूरा का पूरा हट गया एंड यहाँ पे भी शेयर होल्डिंग डाइल्यूट हो गई क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली इसको ई को 55 देने के चक्कर में B also gave certain share, C also gave certain share, like dilution हो गया. So अब अगर हम शेयर होल्डिंग कंपेयर करें तो ABC यहाँ पे 75% के थे, अब ABC खाली
45.
45% के रह गए. ठीक है, तो शेयर होल्डिंग सेम नहीं रही. एक तो डी तो आउट हो गया. ठीक है,
हम्म.
शेयर होल्डिंग 51% एटलीस्ट सेम होनी चाहिए थी. यहाँ पे
Yes.
खाली 45% सेम है.
Hmm.
ठीक है, सो
Yes, ma'am.
इन दिस केस इट वुड नॉट बी अलाउड टू बी सेट ऑफ.
And ma'am, the loss would be bear by in the ABC only, na?
वेयर बाय क्यों, ये कंपनी की बात हो रही है ना.
Okay, ma'am. Company. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
ठीक है,
Yes, ma'am.
इसमें बेयरिंग का तो प्रोविजन ही नहीं आया.
Yes, ma'am.
गॉट इट.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Does anyone have any doubt in this provision particularly? Mithali, is all clear? Okay. सो ईयर 1, ईयर 2, ईयर 3 बेसिकली आपको अब ये नहीं देखना कि ईयर 2 में क्या शेयर होल्डिंग थी या ईयर 4 में क्या शेयर होल्डिंग थी. नो, only blindly pick up the year when the loss was incurred. Blindly pick up the year when you intend to set it off. 51% से ज्यादा शेयर होल्डिंग चेंज हो गई है, यू कैन नॉट.
Yes.
सॉरी, 51% से ज्यादा शेयर होल्डिंग नहीं, 49% से ज्यादा शेयर होल्डिंग चेंज हो गई है, यू कैन नॉट. एटलीस्ट 51% शुड बी द सेम. ओके,
Okay, ma'am.
सॉर्टेड. अब 40 लाख से 20 साल तो जस्ट होगा नहीं, वो फिर कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो जाएगा. इट विल बी कैरी फॉरवर्डेड. और जो भी इसका 8 years पीरियड बचा है, दैट वुड बी द ईयर जब तक इट कैन बी कैरी फॉरवर्डेड. सिंपल. So can I adjust from 10 lakhs, and if I'm not able to adjust 40 lakhs? Yes, you can adjust 10 lakhs from 5 lakhs, but again you have to see कि incurring loss year में और setting off loss year में 51% shareholding same रहे. The shareholding should remain same for 51%. Got it? अब यहाँ पे एक प्रोविजन तो क्लोजली हेल्ड कंपनी का क्लियर हो गया, बट आई नो यू वुड मस्ट बी सीइंग ऑन योर स्क्रीन दैट oh ma'am, there is ATIAC also written, ATIAC also written. So what is the point of section ATIAC? So एक तरीके से एक रिलैक्सेशन दिया हुआ ATIAC को. I'll tell you how. So ATIAC क्या है? ATIAC is for startups. Now startups का क्या है? Which startups? Startups which are referred under section 80 अब कौन से startups होते हैं which are referred under section 80 They are those startups who basically are incorporated between April 16 to 31st March 2025, have a total turnover of maximum 100 crores in the previous year relevant to the assessment year for which deduction is claimed, and have a certificate from the Ministerial Board of Certification, which is your startup के लिए eligible entity to give the certification, DPIIT. ठीक है. Plus eligible business कौन सा होना चाहिए? They must be into innovation, etc., etc. So not all startups, but startups who have DPIIT recognition and have a turnover of up to 100 crores and are incorporated in this period, which is April 16 to 31st March 25, are those startups who are allowed deduction under section 80IAC for their business incomes. But ignoring that, here we are talking about setup of losses. Here we are talking about setup of losses. So setup of losses में again यहाँ पे एक टेक्निकल इशू आएगा, बिकॉज स्टार्टअप्स आर समथिंग विच चेंज देयर शेयर होल्डिंग वेरी फ्रीक्वेंटली. पूछो क्यों? बिकॉज दे आर कंटिन्यूसली रेजिंग फंड्स. दे आर कंटिन्यूसली रेजिंग फंड्स. तो 51% शेयर होल्डिंग तो सेम रहेगा ही नहीं. टेक्निकली दे आर ऑन ऑलवेज ऑन द गो ऑफ ऑलवेज ऑन द गो ऑफ डाइल्यूटिंग देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, राइट? क्योंकि अगर किसी को बोर्ड पे लाएंगे, फंड रेज करेंगे, उनको अपना इक्विटी देना पड़ेगा, करेक्ट? तो उस केस में 51% तो कभी सेम रहेगा ही नहीं. Yes, it can be. This condition otherwise is applicable for them also, but a sort of relaxation was given to them as a second condition. कि ठीक है, if you are not able to cover up that 51% shareholding वाला condition, that 51% voting power should be same as on the date of incurrence of loss last year, as on the last date of the incurrence of the loss year, and as on the last date of the set of year. If that is not able to fulfill, at least maintain a criteria of 100% shareholding or shareholders. अब ये क्या criteria है 100% of shareholders? So they say कि suppose when the startup started, there were A, B, C and D. all were holding 25% each as voting power. Now, as they expanded, they raised fresh capital of, say, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever amount. Okay? Now, technically, A, B, C, D gave up their 5% shares, and now they're 20% each. Or you can say gave up their 15% share, and now they're 10% each. इन्होंने अपना डाइल्यूट करके एक वेंचर कैपिटल को दे दिया अपना सारा इक्विटी ऑफ से 60%. ठीक है. अब टेक्निकली यू विल से कि मैम शेयर होल्डिंग इज नॉट रिमेनिंग द सेम बिकॉज ईयर 1 में देयर वाज टोटल एबीसीडी हेल्ड 25%. नाउ ईयर 2 में एबीसीडी हेल्ड only 40%. So 50% shareholding criteria is not met, which is technically right. So you will say they cannot adjust the loss, but they give this as a help to the or as a relaxation to the startup that okay, in the first 10 years of your incorporation, even if the shareholding is changing for more than 51% or for more than 49%, but if all shareholders remain the same on the year of incurrence of loss, and all matlab ABCD and यहाँ पे भी ABCD, all of them 100% shareholders are same, or 100% shareholders who were there on the incurrence of year of loss and who are there on the set of loss, all of them are there, then you can adjust the loss even if 51% से ज़्यादा shareholding change हो गई. So all the shareholders of such company who held shares carrying voting power on the last date of previous years or years in which loss was incurred continue to hold those shares on the last day of such previous year in which the loss is to be set off, and such loss has been incurred during the period of first 10 years beginning from the year of incorporation of such company, then they would be allowed to adjust the unabsorbed loss or the carry forwarded loss. Shareholders सबके सब सेम रहने चाहिए, एटलीस्ट ये जो जिस साल जो incurring of the loss में shareholders थे वो सारे के सारे shareholders should be at the time of the set off of the year loss, even if उनकी shareholding change हो गई obviously, but at least all of them are there on the shareholders list, then you can adjust. So एक तरीके से this is a relaxation given to them, and this is only for the startups who are covered under ATIAC. So general rule is, friends, 51% criteria, that 51% shareholding should be the same in year of loss and in year of incurrence of loss and year of set off of loss, and you have to see the shareholding as on the last date of the previous year. ठीक है. But in ATIAC वाले cases में, if you cannot fulfill that 51% shareholding, if you can, very good. If you cannot, then at least make sure all the shareholders which were there on board would be a wrong term, on the list as on the year of incurrence of loss, are also now the shareholders in the list when the loss is set off. When the loss is set off, 100% shareholding उन shareholders same होने चाहिए. Even D एक second को हट गया, you cannot adjust it. ABCD, if what the shareholders on the incurrence of loss, then ABCD should be the shareholders on the set off of loss, irrespective of उनका shareholding क्या रह जाता है. It does not matter. But all of them should be there in those lists. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Because this point most of the people skip, and this is something from which you will be having your question from. अच्छा, उसके अलावा जनरल रिस्ट्रिक्शन है कि 51% शेयर होल्डिंग या नहीं सेम रहे. बट इफ अब सपोज करो इफ 51% शेयर होल्डिंग इज नॉट सेम, but it is not as an intent of a company that it did not match. For example, if the shareholding got changed because of a death of a person, then what you can do? You cannot do anything, right? You cannot do anything, and just because of that अगर voting power में change आ रहा है, then it would be allowed as an exception. It would be allowed as an exception. So where there is a change in voting power or shareholding takes place, and it takes place due to the death of the shareholder, जैसे ABCD थे, ठीक है, डी हैड से 52% शेयर होल्डिंग, बट डी डाइड. अब डी की जगह ई इज होल्डिंग द शेयर. सो यू विल नॉट से कि since D is was since there is more than 51% shareholding change or more than 49% shareholding change, we cannot allow to set it off. No, because of a genuine concern, shareholder died. That's why the shareholding got changed. That's why the shareholding got changed. That would be allowed as an exception. Similarly, if the shareholder gifted the share to his relatives, that is also allowed as exception. Similarly, if shareholding changed because of amalgamation or demerger, which is covered under section 72A, then also 51% wala criteria would not be applicable. Similarly, if shareholding gets changed because of a resolution plan being approved under the insolvency and bankruptcy code, उसकी वजह से शेयर होल्डिंग चेंज हो गई बिकॉज कोई एक रेजोल्यूशन प्लान उन्होंने दिया आईबीसी में एंड वहां पे एक रीजनेबल अपॉर्चुनिटी के बाद दे चेंज द शेयर होल्डिंग, नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. या shareholding got changed due to NCLT suspended the board of directors, and because of that new directors were appointed, and because of that shareholding got changed, not a problem. ठीक है, so अगर इन सब चीजों की वजह से शेयर होल्डिंग इज चेंजिंग, देन सेक्शन 79 का एक्सेप्शन वुड अप्लाई. गॉट इट? और एक बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, प्लीज राइट इट केयरफुली एंड इन बोल्ड एंड कैपिटल लेटर्स. अनएब्सॉर्ब्ड डेप्रिसिएशन के लिए सेक्शन 79 वुड नॉट अप्लाई. Unabsorbed depreciation के लिए section 79 would not apply, because section 79, if you read, is talking about carry forward of losses. It is not talking about unabsorbed depreciation or unabsorbed capital expenditure on scientific research or unabsorbed family planning, because they are not governed by section of losses. They are governed by section 32 or 35, right? So these can be carried forwarded and set off irrespective of the change in the shareholding. Please write this in bold letters on section 79. This is a very, very, very important point, and this can come you as a question also, or as again a checkpoint also. Okay, do not forget. Secondly, remember registered shareholding is not relevant. So यहाँ पे wherever they're talking about beneficial holding. Beneficial holders should be same. Beneficial holding should be same. Registered shareholder change हो सकता है. अब registered shareholder मतलब अब suppose करो the shares are ultimately for the benefit of a minor. ठीक है, अब guardian can change, the name of guardian can change, it will not impact because guardian would be the registered or the legal holder until minor becomes major, right? अब guardian A की जगह B हो गया, that does not mean कि शेयर होल्डिंग चेंज होगी. अल्टीमेटली बेनिफिट तो माइनर का था, राइट? बेनिफिशियल होल्डर इज स्टिल माइनर एंड दैट विल गो ऑन टिल द माइनर ओनली. सो रजिस्टर में नाम किसका हो, अल्टीमेटली हु इज द बेनिफिशियल होल्डर, that is mandatory. And again, a question or a case law can come to you from this particular point. And last, हमेशा याद रखना, section 79 is to be compared at 2 points of time. One is the last day of the previous year in which loss was incurred, and another is last day of the previous year in which loss is set off. अब उसके बाद कहीं पे ये वारंट नहीं किया हुआ या डिनाई नहीं किया हुआ that you cannot further set it off in the subsequent year. Section 79 has to be considered for each year when you're incurring and setting off. Each year you have to consider it. ठीक है? It can happen that ABCD were shareholders, then ABEF came, and then next year again ABCD shareholder फिर से बन गए. तो जिस साल में you're carry forwarding it and जिस साल basically you're setting forward it and incurring it, you compare only those 2 points. बीच में again and again I'm saying confuse करने के लिए anything can be given to you. Got it? Mitali, I did not get your question. Please write it again, and if you have any other problem, you can talk on the speaker also, not an issue. You can unmute and discuss.
मैम आपने बोला था ना कि अनएब्जॉर्ब डेप्रिसिएशन या कैपिटल गेन ये इस पे नहीं अप्लाई होगा, तो ये कौन कौन से इनकम पे नहीं अप्लाई होगा, इसकी लिस्ट पूछ रही थी मैं आपसे।
नहीं, सी सेक्शन 17 इनकम पे नहीं, सी सेक्शन 79 इज फॉर लॉसेस, ठीक है।
लॉसेस या
सेक्शन रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन लॉसेस, दैट मीन्स इफ शेयर होल्डिंग 49% से ज्यादा शेयर हो गया या 51% सेम नहीं रहा, देन यू कैन नॉट कैरी फॉरवर्ड एंड सेट ऑफ सर्टेन लॉसेस। एंड वो सारे लॉसेस सेक्शन 71 से लेके सेक्शन 74 वाले सारे लॉसेस। बट व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट अनएब्सॉर्ब डेप्रिसिएशन और अनएब्सॉर्ब्ड capital expenditure on scientific research or unabsorbed capital expenditure on family planning, they are all not losses. They are different items which are not covered under the chapter of set up and carry forward. They are covered under those respective chapters of income tax which is in relation to business income. Section 32 में है, ये section 35 में है, ये section 36 में है, ये भी section 35 के 35 1 36 में है, ये section 36 में है. So all I'm trying to say is कि ये उस respective sections को belong करते हैं, not to the chapter of losses or not to section 72 or not to section 71. They are different. ठीक है.
ओके मैम,
So
आई गॉट
इसलिए
इट।
इस पे सेक्शन इन प्रोविजंस पे सेक्शन 79 नहीं लग, इन लॉसेस पे सेक्शन 79 नहीं लगता. So having said that, suppose if I have unabsorbed depreciation and even if there's a change of shareholding of more than 49%, I can still adjust unabsorbed depreciation.
Yeah, okay.
Because section 79 only restricts on losses.
Yeah.
Got it?
Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. So this is all about business losses which we discussed. अभी हमने business losses में क्या क्या discuss किया? We discussed business losses में the three types of losses: business loss, speculative business loss, specified business loss. Business loss 8 years, speculative 4 years, non-specified business loss indefinite period. And then you saw कि वो किस किस से adjust हो सकता है. Then we studied that discontinuity is not a criteria. मतलब discontinued business है, if you have any other business income, you can adjust it. Then we saw that this 8 years limit does not apply to unabsorbed depreciation, capital expenditure of scientific research, and unabsorbed capital expenditure of family planning. Then we saw that even if after discontinued business, you because of having no business income, your discontinued business wala loss did not got adjusted, right? Did not get adjusted, and it is still pending there. Now, after suppose so many years or X number of years, if you have any income from that business which was discontinued and still you have the business loss which was not adjusted, you can adjust that business income with the business loss even if 8 years have lapsed. Then same assessee who has incurred the loss should adjust the loss. But then there is exception that if you are getting that business through inheritance, you can take that business through amalgamation, demerger, or succession of business, or reorganization of cooperative banks. Then you can adjust the business loss as a of the predecessor and you are the successor. Then we saw that if a person is retiring or is a partner is deceased or partner is retiring, uska share gets slabs in the carry forwarding businesses or carry forwarding losses. Then we saw section 79 where we understood that 51% shareholding should be same in the last day of the previous year in which loss was incurred, last day of the previous year in which losses to be set off. Then we saw that ATIAC, that is startups covered under ATIAC, are given a benefit that even if your shareholding has changed for more than 51%, but your shareholders, which were there on the incurrence of loss and on the set off of the loss, at least those all shareholders are same, we will allow you to set it off. But this has to be happen in the only applicable for the first 10 years of losses. Clear? And then we saw that unabsorbed depreciation, unabsorbed capital expenditure on scientific research and family planning, these are not part of the section 79 restrictions because section 79 talks about losses and these are not losses as per this particular chapter. Got it? All clear? So this is all we discussed in relation to losses, and that's why I picked up section 79 and 78 is बीच में, so that you can understand कि businesses के point of view से और क्या हो सकता है. 78 and 79 are for applicable for all losses, but more applicable are always on the business losses impact. ठीक है? There is still amalgamation left and there is still शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल लॉस एक्सेट्रा लेफ्ट, उसको फटाफट कवर करते हैं. Back onto this quick chart. हाँ. Now capital gain में लॉस कब होगा? जब लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल लॉस है एंड यू डोंट हैव एनी लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन, और शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल लॉस है, यू कैन एडजस्ट इट विद शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन एंड लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन एंड स्टिल देयर इज अ लॉस, देन यू विल कैरी इट फॉरवर्ड, एंड वंस कैरी इट फॉरवर्ड सेम रिस्ट्रिक्शन वुड अप्लाई, जो सेम इंट्रा हेड रिस्ट्रिक्शन थी, सेम इंट्रा हेड रिस्ट्रिक्शन वुड अप्लाई एंड यू कैन ओनली एडजस्ट इट विद सेम हेड. दैट मीन्स शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल लॉस को यू कैन एडजस्ट इट विद शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन and long term capital gain, but long term capital loss को you can only adjust it with long term capital gain. Maximum 8 years के लिए, and return filing is again mandatory here. Owning and maintaining race horses से कोई loss होता है? This I told in the last year also कि loss कैसे हो सकता है? You are maintaining the race horses and you have not earned any money out of it. So you can adjust the loss only with the income of maintaining race horses. Income यानी जब आपका घोड़ा उस किसी रेस में जीतेगा and you get a stake money out of it. ठीक है? Then only you can adjust it. And this is for 4 years period only. This is for 4 years period only. And return filing again is mandatory here. And unabsorbed depreciation के लिए again, there is no restriction. While carrying it forward, you can adjust it with any income except salary. ऐसे क्या है कि losses once carry forward, it has to be adjusted with the same head of income, right? But unabsorbed depreciation once carry forward, it can be adjusted with any other head of income except salary, and for indefinite period. And even return filing is not mandatory. You can prepare this quick chart on your handwriting also. So this is the crux of your set off and carry forward loss chapter. Amalgamation demerger से related point है. Let me see how much we should be touch in respect to it. Which I'll let you know. ठीक है? But this is all. You can make this chapter. But हाँ, इसमें questions कैसे कैसे आते हैं, which I told you. Section 79 comes, section 72 comes, ये discontinuity वाले questions come, inheritance वाले questions come, section 78 वाले. This is the main type of question which you can expect as a case study also. और when the income is exempt, उसका कोई loss नहीं cover होगा, which I told you in the first class also. Losses from lottery नहीं allowed होगा, card games नहीं allowed होगा, they are not eligible for any set off. और order of set off हमेशा क्या होगा? Current year depreciation, फिर current year loss, फिर brought forward business loss, फिर unabsorbed depreciation. Reason is same because of the years. ठीक है? हमेशा first loss which would be set off would be year of incurrence, and then carry forwarded loss होंगे, and obviously same head में adjust होंगे. ठीक है? So with this I'll leave you on break. You can take it up. कोई और doubt है किसी को भी? Perfect. So see you after the break. कोई doubt है? Amalgamation and demerger, the reorganization को I'll just touch to the extent which is required, and then we'll move forward. Does anyone has any doubts? आज वाला जो टॉपिक से वो it was comparatively technical discussion. Last वाले में तो it was just telling you what to do, what not to do. But today I hope you got a good gist of it. We can do one question also so that you can feel more confident about it. Hmm. Sorry. Suppose करो one partner dies and उन partner की जगह कोई और came as a legal hire, then it would is a clear case of inheritance. So then there would be no lapsing of the losses. No one has any doubt. Everything is sorted clear. Sure. Prateek, Ankita,
Actually, I couldn't understand the question, ma'am. What happened?
which question?
You have actually, I came from outside. यानी मैं आई, लेक्चर स्टार्ट हो चुका था, इसीलिए मैं सुन नहीं पाई आपने क्या कहा था.
So it was just a simple question. Ki, suppose a part, so I've told you if a partner dies, then yeah, a partner retires, then uska share gets lapsed, whatever share of profit he had, right? उसमें से जो भी business loss होगा या कोई भी loss होगा, that will get lapsed, right, for the firm. My question here is now suppose a partner dies, now his legal hire takes place, his place. So in that case, will the share lapse of the loss, yes or no? So the answer is no, because inheritance हो रहा है, inheritance के case में it is still allowed to be carry forwarded and no share lapsing of the carry forward losses will happen. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's do one illustration and then so that you can also feel very confident and so do I. कि हाँ अब my friends know how to do it. One second. Can you see the screen? Or let me just share it again. Perfect. So this is an illustration 6, which is there on your screen. It's about Mr. Fadness, who has the following losses or the following income for assessment year 25-26. Income from house property, income from business before providing for depreciation, short-term capital gain on sale of shares, long-term capital gain from sale of long-term capital loss from sale of property brought forwarded from assessment year 22-23. Okay. Income from tea business. Okay. Dividend from Indian companies carrying on agriculture operations. This is a good point. Current year depreciation and brought forward business loss. Loss incurred 6 years ago. Now, dividend from Indian companies carrying agriculture operations does not make it an agricultural income, just to be very clear. This is given in your explanation also. This is my other source income. So now compute your gross total income. Take a moment, study the question, practice it, and then we'll just talk about it. Do not see the answer, please. The income from tea business दिया है, बस उसको 40% कर लेना, because tea business के case में only 40% is considered to be a business income. बहुत इजी सा क्वेश्चन है, कुछ है ही नहीं इसमें. I think that simple सा है. Okay. So first of all, highlight the losses which you have to carry set off. Here we have this loss, and then here we have current year depreciation, fine, and then brought forward business loss. Very simple. So income from house property as it is चले जाएगा. देखते हैं. पहले पहले intra head adjustment is mandatory, as I told you. You cannot directly jump to an inter head adjustment. Please remember inter, then carry forwarding and brought forwarding, etc. ठीक है. So first from the business income 135, you adjust current year depreciation 26. Then you adjust, this is done. Okay, there is income from tea business of 120. 40% को you will treat it as business income 48,000. ठीक है. This is also done. Then you will adjust your brought forward business loss of 45,000. और कुछ रह गया? नहीं. And this is how you have to show. सीधा पहले brought forward को do not adjust it. Oh, are you getting the positive figure? Yes, we are. The final answer is 136 plus 26. Sorry. Minus 26 plus 48 minus 45. कुछ हाँ सबका सेम आ गया. 1 lakh. 1,12,000. Everyone got it? Okay. I'm assuming everyone did.
Yes, ma'am.
Then long-term capital loss cannot be adjusted because intra-head adjustment cannot happen and inter-head to hai nahi. So this would be carry forwarded. Short-term capital gain would be of 56,000. House property would be of 125. And dividend would be of 120. That's it. And this is good to go. So always if you have any question like this, pick up losses, pick up current year adjustments, and first do current year adjustment. Then you do inter-head adjustment, then you do carry forward adjustments. Okay? So now we proceed with amalgamation. ये demerger ये थोड़े से weirdly very technical, very legal type के terms हैं. ये people get confused कि ये वाले sections को मैम कैसे पढ़े. See, यहाँ पे हम basic चीज से समझते हैं. We'll understand the basic things here first. Amalgamation के लिए section 72A है. Then you have section 72AA for your banks. Sorry, 72AB is for the organization of cooperative banks and 72AA is for amalgamation of banks. ठीक है. Technically, crux क्या है कि successor and predecessor. So predecessor would be basically the entity who has incurred the loss, and successor would be the entity who has to adjust the loss. Predecessor convert हो जाएगा successor में because maybe through amalgamation, maybe through demerger, maybe through general reorganizations, right? So what all conditions you have to remember, what all points you have to remember. When I'm talking about amalgamation, first of all, amalgamation, if we talk about, it should be as per for these 4 situations only. A company owning an industrial undertaking or a ship or a hotel is amalgamating with another company. ठीक है. A banking company is amalgamating with any specified bank. A public sector company is amalgamating with any public sector company, or an erstwhile public sector company. Erstwhile public sector company means pehle. So this is a part of strategic disinvestment. Strategic disinvestment क्या होता है? Where a public sector company which was owned by the government, वहां पे गवर्नमेंट धीरे धीरे अपना स्टेक कम करती है, आउट होती है, सो दैट प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स कैन इन्वेस्ट इन दैट कंपनी. ठीक है. उसको कहते हैं अर्स्ट वाइल, मतलब पहले वो पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनी थी. बट ड्यू टू गवर्नमेंट स्ट्रेटेजिक डिस इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान आज की डेट में वो पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनी नहीं है, बट वो पहले थी अर्स्ट वाइल. ठीक है. एंड इज नाउ गेटिंग अमेलगमेटेड विद वन और मोर कंपनीज. सो बेसिकली only on these people the amalgamation benefit of predecessor के losses becoming successor के losses would apply. यानी predecessor को जो लॉस होंगे that successor can carry forward it. Amalgamation के केस में you get fresh 8 years to carry forward. Fresh 8 years, यहाँ पे बैलेंस ईयर्स का नहीं है. फ्रेश 8 years मिलते हैं amalgamation के केस में, बट ओनली ऑफ दीज एंटिटीज. उसके साथ साथ सी अर्स्टवाइल के अंदर पर्सनल एडवाइस, डू नॉट गो डीप डाउन इनटू इट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि क्या अर्स्टवाइल पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनीज है, व्हाट आर द कंडीशंस, डोंट पर्सनल एडवाइस, डोंट गो डीप डाउन इनटू इट. बट रिमेंबर, that what all the conditions you have to fulfill. एक amalgamating company कौन सा होगा? The company which is getting amalgamated, मतलब predecessor amalgamated would be the resultant company, that is the successor. So what thing you have to remember is that the company should be into जो भी business loss and unabsorbed depreciation which you are carrying forwarded to the new company. The company should be into that business for at least 3 years, and at least three-fourths of the book value of the fixed asset held by it 2 years prior to the date of amalgamation. यानी जो date of amalgamation में book value थी, at least three-fourths of the same should be 2 years prior. Similarly, the company which is the resultant company, uska three-fourths of the book value of the fixed asset should remain same for the next 5 years from the date of amalgamation. Business should remain same for the next 5 years. जो भी amalgamating company का business था same. एंड जो बाकी कंडीशंस हैं रिगार्डिंग रिवाइवल ऑफ द बिजनेस, ये रिवाइवल ऑफ द बिजनेस क्यों हुआ होगा जो ऑस्ट्रेल पब्लिक कंपनी के लिए केस में, बिकॉज ऑफ द इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटीज रिमेनिंग द सेम एंड ये सब मिनिमम लेवल ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इज रिमेनिंग द सेम फॉर एटलीस्ट 5 years. अमेलगमेशन क्यों हुआ? ताकि बिजनेस रिवाइव हो जाए, तो installed capacity should save. These are all just basic conditions which you have to go through. I know with so much इतने tiny brain में ये सब याद नहीं रहेगा. But to give you a heads up, if a question like this comes, amalgamation ka, just remember these are applicable only on the 4 types of entities which we discussed. And remember that the business should be same for यहाँ पे 3 years, यहाँ पे 5 years. Three-fourths of book value should be same for 2 years, यहाँ पे 5 years. 5 years ये ना? हाँ, 5 years. ठीक है? It simple से let's break it down कैसे याद रखना है. And then whatever unabsorbed loss, whatever accumulated loss or unabsorbed depreciation is there, just like I did the error, do not write unabsorbed loss, I say unnecessarily. Accumulated loss or unabsorbed depreciation which is there would become the accumulated loss and depreciation of the amalgamated company. ठीक है? Erstwhile public company के बारे में इसमें ज्यादा मत पढ़ना, you will get confused. And in case the conditions which are specified, यानी book value change हो गया या business change हो गया, so whatever benefit of set off of losses you took shall become the income in the year of failure of conditions. Simple. Demerger के केस में क्या होता है? Demerger के केस में there are what are the two companies here? One is the demerged company and one is the resulting company. अब यहाँ पे losses are allowed to be carried forwarded only for the remaining period. अब एक और चीज यहाँ पे additional important point is that demerged company का जो loss होगा, demerged company का whatever loss is there, which you can directly identify that it is of a demerged company, will continue to be the loss of the demerged company only. ठीक है? जो मुझे पता है कि इस यूनिट का ही लॉस है, इसी यूनिट को बिलोंग करता है, इट विल कंटिन्यू टू बी पार्ट ऑफ द डीमर्ज्ड कंपनी ओनली. बट कोई ऐसा लॉस है विच इज अनआइडेंटिफाइड एंड यू कैन नॉट आइडेंटिफाई कि रिजल्टिंग कंपनी को बिलोंग करेगा और डीमर्ज्ड कंपनी को बिलोंग करेगा, देन बेसिस द प्रोपोर्शनेट बुक वैल्यू you will proportionate the loss and then you will carry forward it for the remaining period. Got it? बस में भी सेम demergers वाली conditions जो भी हैं that would apply. उसके अलावा सेम conversion of company into LLP or conversion of
Excuse me, ma'am.
just 1 second, I'll complete it and then I'll take you down.
Yeah.
Or case where firm is succeeded by a company or a sole proprietorship is succeeded by a company. उन सब cases में जो which you must have studied when you were doing capital gain, all those conditions should remain the same. Then in that case, whatever the loss is of the predecessor, that means in this case, जैसे firm का कोई loss है, would automatically become the company का loss and company would adjust that loss for the remaining period. And in case you do not fulfill the conditions which are there for the reorganization of business, you do not fulfill them in the year of failure, if you have adjusted any loss, that loss would become your income. So ये बेसिक है, इसमें इतना डीप डाइव करोगे कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे, इसलिए इसको ऐसे क्रक्स की तरह अंडरस्टैंड करना है, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड इट. yes tell me your doubt.
या मैम, आपने डीमर्जर के केस में कहा था कि प्रोपोर्शनेट करना है हमें, अगर हमें क्लियर ना हो कि वो कौन सा यूनिट से बिलोंग करता है.
करेक्ट.
तो मैम हमें प्रोपोर्शनेट क्या करना है, लॉस करना है या हमें इनकम को प्रोपोर्शनेट करके
नहीं,
फिर
नहीं,
एडजस्ट करना है?
यहाँ पे लॉस की बात हो रही है ना कि लॉस कैरी फॉरवर्ड करना. आप सपोज करो देर इज 30 lakhs का लॉस ऑन द केस ऑफ डीमर्जर ऑन द डेट ऑफ डीमर्जर. 30 lakhs का टोटल लॉस है, बट इसमें से पता है कि 20 lakhs का लॉस बिलोंग टू यूनिट ए विच इज डीमर्ज्ड कंपनी. तो ये 20 lakhs को तो रिजल्टिंग कंपनी विल नॉट कैरी फॉरवर्ड. ठीक है, सिंपल. बट 10 lakhs इज द लॉस विच वी कैन नॉट आइडेंटिफाई कि ये डीमर्ज्ड कंपनी यूनिट का है या रिजल्टिंग कंपनी यूनिट का है. सो नाउ दिस 10 lakh ऑफ लॉस वुड बी कैरी फॉरवर्डेड. बट हाउ इट वुड बी कैरी फॉरवर्डेड, दोनों में बटेगा, डीमर्ज्ड कंपनी में भी एंड रिजल्टिंग कंपनी में भी. 10 lakhs वुड गो दोनों कंपनीज में. बट कैसे, बिकॉज डीमर्ज कंपनी स्टिल अ यूनिट, वेरी मच एप्लीकेबल देयर, वेरी मच प्रेजेंट देयर, एग्जिस्टेंस खत्म नहीं हुई है उसकी. ठीक है, सो कैसे बटेगा, 10 lakhs को प्रोपोर्शनेट कर दोगे ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द वैल्यू ऑफ एसेट्स. ठीक है, अब सपोज करो आउट ऑफ 100 lakhs 30 lakhs एसेट आर स्टिल विद डीमर्ज कंपनी, 70 lakhs आर विद द रिजल्टिंग कंपनी. तो अब ये 10 लाख का 30/100 would be carry forwarded by demerged company, and 10 lakh का 70/100 would be carry forwarded by resulting company for the remaining period. अब वो ये वाला 10 लाख का loss has now been proportionated into 3 lakhs and 7 lakhs, and they would carry forward it now in their return for the remaining period. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So अगर हम इसको ऐसे पढ़ेंगे तो विल बी लाइक कि क्या लैंग्वेज लिखी हुई है, क्यों कंफ्यूज कर रहे हैं. अगर इसको ऐसे समझो कि टेक्निकली भी सेम सेंस बनता है ना, जो नहीं डिवाइड हो रहा, विच यू कैन नॉट डिवाइड इट, टेक इट लाइक दिस, proportionate it and let them carry forward it. Got it? So this is all which is there. इसको इसलिए मैंने डीप डाइव नहीं किया बिकॉज अदरवाइज मैं सिर्फ प्रोविजंस पढ़ती रह जाऊंगी एंड यू विल बी लाइक कि मैम इज जस्ट रीडिंग द चैप्टर. तो इसको इसलिए हमने बेसिक कॉमन सेंस में समझ लिया. अच्छा, अमैल्गमेशन, डीमर्जर, सक्सेशन. Does anyone has any doubt? Sure.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
on what basis will it be proportionated?
On the basis of the asset holding. कितना asset किसने retain करा before
Not the
demerger.
shareholding,
Sorry,
not the shareholding.
not the shareholding. Shareholding नहीं ना. See, whenever we are talking about demergers, etc., amalgamations, the proportions of anything, अब even you'll see वहां पे the net एसेट वैल्यू, अगर आप आपने सेक्शन 47 पढ़ा होगा और उसमें कैपिटल गेन्स में पढ़ा होगा फ्रॉम द शेयर होल्डर पॉइंट, एवरीथिंग इज प्रोपोर्शनेटेड बेस्ड ऑन द एसेट्स, the asset retained by the demerged company and the asset given to the resulting company from the total book value of the assets. उस बेसिस पे होता है. ठीक है, and it's written here.
Thank you.
If the accumulated loss or unabsorbed depreciation is not directly relatable to the undertaking, the same will be apportionate between the demerged company and the resulting company in the same proportion in which the value of the assets retained by the demerged company and have been transferred to the resulting company. Like this example, out of 100 lakhs, 30 lakhs was retained by DC and 70 lakhs were given to the resulting company. So उसी base पे we proportionated the loss also. Sorted? Perfect. Any other doubt? Great. So now take a breather for a minute. We'll start with deductions. I know considering we have good 1 hour, we can at least cover a lot of points in relation to deductions. So take a breather and then we'll start with deductions. और अगर कोई डाउट है meanwhile, please feel free to discuss.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I had a small doubt regarding the tax audit.
Hmm.
Like, Mr. A is into business and he has not opted for presumptive taxation from year one. So in the previous year, his turnover is 1 crore and his income is 5 lakhs. So
Hmm.
is the tax audit mandatory for him?
No, it is not. So he has
But
not opted for presumptive earlier ever, right? So yeah,
yes,
it is not, but he has to maintain the books. That is mandatory.
okay, ma'am. That you have told that if the income is less than the presumptive income that the tax auditor is applicable, you have
So the
told it.
condition, so the condition is that if you have been claiming the presumptive taxation and for continuous 5 years you are unable to claim it, then you would not be able to unable to claim it, or you want to show a lower profit, then you would not be able to claim it for the next 5 years. So if you want to show a lower profit, if you're already claiming it, then you have to get your accounts audited and maintain the books and do all those thing, provided your income is more than basic residential limit. But otherwise, if you have never ever opted for 44 AD, you are just maintaining your books and whatever profit is coming, you're taking that. That is okay. You can show it.
Okay, ma'am. So same goes to 44 ADA also, right?
Correct. It goes to 44 ADA also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any doubt? Okay, just 1 second. Let me just pick up your deductions chapter. Just 1 second. Okay. Just 1 second, the file is getting uploaded. Okay, meanwhile, you can start, I guess. Hmm. So deductions from gross total income. Now, first of all, this chapter is extremely valid. I mean, I cannot stress how important this chapter is because this is something which is an important tool of tax planning. From practical point of view, this is something which will not go for a long time. Definitely. Then obviously any question which is a full-fledged question is incomplete without deductions. So it's a very interesting chapter, very, very important chapter at the same time. The deductions from there are deductions which you saw under different heads of income. You saw deduction, standard deduction when we talk about salary, there is 50 and 75,000. We saw standard deduction when we talk about house property, section 24 May, interest deductions. We saw deductions when we talk about your income of PGBP, where we see deductions from section 30 to 37. We see deductions when we talk about even your other sources under section 47. So there are deductions there for specific heads. But this chapter clearly says deductions from your gross total income. That means you are first will compute. See, these chapters which we are studying are in the lines of what we have to understand. First, we compute it under different heads. Then we aggregate it. Then we put the clubbing provisions. Then we put the set of provisions. Now, after all that thing, you get the figure which is called the gross total income. Now, from the gross total income, these deductions have to be made, which are given under my chapter 6A. Chapter 6A is not a chapter of your module, but this is a chapter of your Income Tax Act. Please make sure that there are few chapters which you should remember, and one such chapter name of the income tax is chapter 6A. Now, chapter 6A talks about your deductions. A part is your general understanding, general provisions. B part talk about deductions in relation to certain payments. C part talks about deductions in relation to certain incomes. CA part talks about relation to other incomes. And then also there is other part which is ATU. And in this particular chapter, you have been even covered 10AA. So if I have to talk about deductions from your gross total income, they are divided like this. Chapter 6A, there's deductions which are for certain payments. That means if the assessee is making certain types of payments or investments, assessee. Now think yourself as an assessee who has an income. Okay? If the assessee is making these certain types of payments or investment, then only he will get the deduction. So there should be an outflow from the pocket of the assessee to get the deduction. Second is that deduction in respect of certain incomes. That means if in your particular head or computation of income, you have shown certain incomes, then you will get this deduction. Now, this is a very common heading C of chapter 6A, because this heading is referred to a lot of spaces. We'll come to that also. And deduction in respect of other income is like ATTT and ATTTB. Other deductions where ATU falls. This is, so can I technically say the deductions goes from ATC and goes till ATU. ATC onwards majorly are covered under payments till ATGG, and then going forward it is covered under certain incomes, then there is other incomes. So in the upcoming class, we'll cover each such deduction independently. You can, for a self-help, prepare a chart in a manner where you can write deduction section, nature of deduction, maximum deduction, mean condition, eligible assessee, किसको मिलेगा obviously, and other points to remember. Okay, so that you can have a deduction page at a glance. This is a small type of table which you can maintain. Section, nature, maximum deduction, eligible assessee, written here, other points. Okay. Now we'll go from ATC to ATU. Today's class will understand majorly about few major things. Maybe I can go in detail with ATC because I want at your level to have certain knowledge of investments also, because you would now be guiding people to make investments. But to start with, remember, these deductions are majorly for those people who opt out of 115 BAC or specific special taxation regime. So only few sections are allowed to someone who is opting for 115 BAC. Generally, these are only for people who are paying tax as per the normal provisions. Because government, when they introduced 115 BAC, they gave you the benefit of better slab rates, but they took the benefit of certain exemptions and deductions. And Chapter 6A is one common point. Yes, there are few sections which are available to the concessional tax regime people, which we will highlight it specifically. Otherwise, if not told, these deductions are not available to 115 BAC assessees. मतलब जो assessee 115 BAC के as per tax देंगे, they are not opting out. They will not be allowed the deductions. ठीक है? Secondly, हमने अभी ताजा नया पढ़ा that carry forward is there, right? But carry forward of deductions is not there. Whatever you're incurring during the year would be allowed as deduction during that year only. If your deductions are more than your income, A, there will never be a loss. B, they cannot be carry forwarded. जितना इनकम है खाली उतना ही डिडक्शंस मिलेगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. You cannot claim deductions more than your income, or it cannot also be carry forwarded. Sorted? C, all these deductions of Chapter 6A, which you are seeing on your screen, would not be allowed under Section 112, 112A, 111A, and any special rate income. So basically, deductions are not allowed from these particular types of income. So even if I have a capital gain of 8 lakhs and I have no other income, but I have deductions available, I have ATC investment, I cannot set it off because deductions are not allowed in respect to certain special rates income. Got it? Clear? And then there is one more deduction which is under Section 10AA, which is there for your SCZ unit, जो अलग से है. So इन जनरल प्रोविजंस को ध्यान में रखते हुए we shall now proceed. But remember one more thing, that to claim the deductions, you have to file the return on time. And this is a very, very, very important provisions given under 80AC. Not all the deductions on time, matlab, you cannot file a belated return and claim the deduction. So if you want to claim deductions under Chapter 6A, heading C, which is for specific income, जहाँ पे आपका income को ही deduction मिल जाता है, then you have to file the return within the due date. If you will be filing a belated return, you would not be allowed to claim these deductions. You will not be allowed to claim these deductions. Of Chapter 6A, heading C में, deductions are specifically for incomes or tax holidays, like incomes of undertakings or enterprises and infrastructure development operations. 80IA से ये list start हो जाती है. 80IA-B, SCZ, eligible business startup, infrastructure development undertakings का income, housing projects वालों का income, manufacturing of a specific articles etc. का 80IE में. 80JJA is for biodegradable waste. 80JJAA is for new employment scheme, new employment deduction for new employees. 80LA is for offshore international financial service center. 80M intercorporate dividends. 80P cooperative societies. 80QQB royalty income on patents and authors respectively. Authors and patents respectively. So basically these are the list, and yes, you have to remember the list. Please don't ask me at a final level that ma'am, do we have to remember the sections? I'm sorry, you do have to remember those sections. So Chapter 6A, heading C में, if your deduction falls, you have to claim it only when you will only be allowed to claim it if you file the return on time. बाकी के लिए, even if you're filing the return late, you can claim, but for them to claim, you have to file your return on time. So now let's pick up first everyone's favorite section, Section 80C. So again, unsaid hai, until and unless I will specifically tell you that this deduction would be available for 115 BAC assessee, until unless I specifically tell you, it will not be available. Okay, so unsaid until and unless I say कि ये available है तभी available होगा, otherwise these deductions would not be available. ठीक है, so ETC is applicable किसको? Only to individuals and HUF. This is not for companies, this is not for anyone. In fact, अभी coming sections are only for individual and HUF for a lot of coming up sections. Individual and HUF के लिए है, resident हो, non-resident हो, does not matter. Maximum reduction which you will get under section 80C is 1,50,000. बट यहाँ पे बहुत सारी लिस्ट ऑफ एलिजिबल इन्वेस्टमेंट है एंड उसके साथ साथ लिस्ट भी है. बट यू विल सी हियर the assessee, that is the individual or HUS, can do the kharcha for themselves because section 80C is a deduction in respect of payments. अभी जो हम लिस्ट कर रहे हैं वो सारी कौन सी कर रहे हैं? For the payments made by the assessee. All those are under your heading B. उसमें सबसे पहले is 80C. 80C में you saw that only individual and HUF will get the deduction, maximum of 150. But the question here is that there is a list, a pelotra or a pool of options in which you can make investments, to claim 80C. It is not necessary that you have to make an entire 1,50,000 investment into one type of options you have. You can make 1,50,000 investment or expenditure in different options which you have under 80C. बहुत सारे options हैं. We'll come to it one by one and I'll discuss it also at stretch one by one because I want you to understand what are these investment options so that you can guide your people well. Okay, it will take more than 15-20 minutes but it will help you understand these investments. Okay, so coming back to the point that you can, as an assessee, think yourself as an assessee, you can make these expenditure either for you or for your spouse or for your children. अलग अलग टाइप ऑफ प्लान्स में अलग अलग ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है. खुद के लिए, सेल्फ, स्पाउस, चिल्ड्रन के लिए अगर खर्चा करूंगी देन ऑल्सो आई कैन क्लेम द डिडक्शन. इफ I can suppose the first thing which you can see in your on your screen is a contribution to ULIPs, a contribution to a unit linked insurance plan. So if I spend it for myself, or if I make a contribution in the name of my spouse, or if I make a contribution in the name of my children, still I am allowed to claim the deduction. अगर outflow मेरे pocket से हो रहा है, मेरे लिए, मेरे spouse के लिए या children के लिए, I would be allowed as deduction. And HUF किस पे expend करेगा? On the members. If they're making such expenditures for the members or on the name of the members, then it would be allowed. But let's begin one by one. What are these types of particular expenditures and options available? ETC में option number 1 first which we'll discuss is life insurance premium. LIC मत बोलना, life insurance premium. And at this level, I expect everyone to understand what is the difference between life insurance, health insurance, and general insurance. Can someone please tell me? Do not worry if you don't know also. Please make an attempt.
Ma'am, in life insurance, we insured our lives and we get the premium at the maturity of the life insurance premium. And
Correction. You don't get the premium, you pay the premium, you get the
yes,
capital sum assured.
yes, capital sum assured. Okay, ma'am. And in health insurance, the 80D mediclaim will be there because when one get यानी जब कोई बीमार होता है तब वो जो इंश्योर्ड प्रीमियम अमाउंट हम पे कर रहे हैं, मेडिक्लेम की जो अमाउंट हम पे करते हैं वो हमें तब ही मिलती है वरना नहीं मिलती है. और जनरल इंश्योरेंस वी विल टेक फॉर आवर व्हीकल्स एंड इसमें भी ऐसा ही है कि अगर कुछ एक्सीडेंटल प्रॉब्लम होती है और हमारे व्हीकल को डैमेज होता है और हमने उसका इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ है तो हमें उस डैमेज के अकॉर्डिंग अमाउंट मिलती है.
Very good, very good. Fair enough. Or anyone else want to put in? Good, very good, Ginny, very good. So Here you are making what as an assessee you're making premiums. You're paying premiums. कोई भी insurance policy को intact रखने के लिए या active रखने के लिए the assessee pays the premium. So premiums when they are paying, they get a cover as an insurance cover. When you get your insurance cover for the life, that कल को life को कुछ हो जाता है यानी the assessee dies or something and you get some money in respect to it, that is called life insurance. If you pay that premium for cover of your health means कि medical treatments के लिए if you get a coverage, that is called medical insurance premium or health insurance premium. And general insurances, which is not life or health, which are like for your stock, for your car, for any of your building, a house, anything, but not for life and health, वो general insurance category में आ जाता है. ठीक है? So life insurance premium is covered under 80C and health insurance premiums are covered under your 80D. So in fact 80C not only covered just life insurance premium, इसमें बहुत सारे insurance schemes covered है. ULIPs, deferred annuity schemes, annuity plans, ये सब अलग अलग plans हैं. ULIPs में क्या होता है? ULIPs, unit linked insurance plan. मतलब when you are paying a premium, कुछ amount of that premium, some amount about that premium would go to investment, yani units, and कुछ amount would be taken as a premium for insurance. So, and I will get a benefit of both units which I'll be getting from the market. मतलब market का benefit भी मिल गया और insurance का cover भी मिल गया. That is called unit linked insurance plan. Ankita, term plans are your life insurance plans only. Then there are deferred annuity schemes, which basically again is a life insurance policy in a way where you're paying premium, and then after a certain amount of time you get deferred, you get annuities in return. And there are a lot of annuity plans under section 80C, subsection 2, you can read it. So ये सब individual, either they can do it for themselves or for the spouse or for the children. And deduction is in respect of the premiums. HUF can claim your payments for life insurance or ULIPs for any of its members, ठीक है? But deferred annuity or annuity plans में नहीं मिलेगा. But life insurance में there is another thing which you have to remember. Let's just pick it up like that. Endowment plans भी life insurance में आते हैं, yes. एक चीज याद रखना, whenever we're talking about life insurance premium, any excess premium will not be eligible for deduction. Now, what do you mean by excess premium? Let's first discuss that. Excess premium क्या होगा? When I'm talking about a policy, see, policy issue होता है during a period and it goes for a long period, and then there is capital sum assured to it. Capital sum assured means the money which you will get as a guarantee back until unless you surrendered it before. So if we talk about your policy which is issued before 2012, the maximum premium which is allowed is 20% of the capital sum assured. ठीक है? If the policy is issued after 2012, the maximum sum which is allowed is 10% of your capital sum assured. If we talk about any disabled person or any person with a specified disease who got the policy after 1st April 2013, then the maximum premium which would be allowed is 15% of the policy. So this is the maximum premium which will allow. So suppose my capital sum assured is, again, this can come as an adjustment entry. Capital sum assured is 3 lakhs and I am paying a premium of 40,000. The policy is issued after 1st April 2012. This is not 1st April, sorry. This is before 1st April. So in this case, only premium which would be allowed would be of 30,000. 10,000 would not be allowed. So these are called exorbitant premiums, would not be allowed because whatever the policy premiums high हो इसलिए होते हैं, maybe उसके साथ और benefits भी हो. So only up to the extent of 10% would be allowed. But remember, for your policies to go, it should be there for at least 2 years ka payment. The premium should be paid for at least 2 years. Otherwise, whatever premium deduction you have taken would be cancelled. So if I'm taking the premium deduction for this year, I should pay it next year also to claim the deduction. Otherwise, जो मैंने पहले लिया था, it would be reversed back and it would be treated as my income. But आप बोलोगे कि मैम अगर सिंगल प्रीमियम पॉलिसी है तब क्या करेंगे? अगर सिंगल प्रीमियम पॉलिसी है तो 2 साल से पहले वो टर्मिनेट नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है, देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ सिंगल प्रीमियम पॉलिसीज ऑल्सो. देन एटलीस्ट फॉर 2 years इट शुड नॉट बी टर्मिनेटेड. और यही होता है व्हेन यू हैव अ हाई प्रीमियम पॉलिसी. सेक्शन 10(10)(d), सेक्शन 10 सबसेक्शन 10(d) में whenever the policy is of in respect of excess premium, तो उससे जो भी मनी मिलता है गाइस, whatever excess whatever money you will get is taxable as income. Have you studied section 10(10)(d)? Yes or no? Guys, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no. So let me just tell you the provision of section 10(10)(d) also together. So section 10(10)(d) talks about the money which you receive on your maturity or when you surrender it. ठीक है, अब maturity पे पैसा मिलता है. So maturity पे generally the money which you get is exempt. This will help you in section 194(da) also. So please listen carefully. TDS से related भी है, please listen carefully. So the money which you receive on maturity is generally exempt, but इसलिए वो section 10 का part है. ठीक है, but if you are getting the money of these excess premium policy, जैसे ये वाला था, it will never be exempt. It will never be exempt. It would be taxable. But what would be the taxable amount? The income amount. Income amount कैसे निकालेंगे? अब suppose 40,000 premium I've paid every year for 10 years. अब maturity पे I will be getting 5 lakh rupees. So what is my income? 5 lakhs. My income is 1 lakh. Because 40,000 I paid, that was the premium which I paid, that is 4 lakhs which I paid. This return I got 5 lakhs. So the income is 1 lakh. This 1 lakh gets taxable as my income from other sources. This does not get exempt under section 10(10)(d). Why? Because the premiums were more than the limits which we discussed. The premiums were more than the limits. If the premiums are within the limits, so whatever I get on maturity is exempt. But if the premiums are more than the limit, then whatever I get on maturity, the income part is taxable. The income part is taxable. और इसी पे TDS भी कटता है. Got it? So this is section 10(10)(d). LIC के point clear?
Clear, ma'am.
ULIPs में भी सेम है. ULIPs में क्या होता है? ULIPs में you get a risk cover for the policy holder along with investment. जो मैं प्रीमियम दूंगी, थोड़ा पार्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट पार्ट में चला जाएगा. The company will invest something in the market and also I will get the risk cover. तो इससे एक बेनिफिट है because I get a security of life also and I get the money invested in good qualified stocks, bonds or mutual funds. Or again, I can take this ULIPs for my spouse, children or myself. डिपेंडेंट और इंडिपेंडेंट डज नॉट मैटर बिकॉज अभी आने वाला सिचुएशंस में बहुत कंफ्यूजन होगा. ईच सेक्शन हैज डिफरेंट फैमिली मेंबर डेफिनेशन, ईच सेक्शन हैज डिफरेंट डिपेंडेंसी एंड नॉन डिपेंडेंसी क्राइटेरिया. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू राइट इट क्लियरली एंड एट द एंड ऑफ इट यू कैन मेक अ कॉमेंट चार्ट कि हाँ इस सेक्शन में these family members are covered, dependent and independent, and sections where these family members are covered. इस केस में these members are covered dependent. So please be careful of it. Any doubt?
या मैम इस सेक्शन में टीडीएस कौन सा सेक्शन का एप्लीकेबल होगा और कितने परसेंट?
So TDS का there is a different section अंकिता which is under 194(da). वो मैंने बस रेफर करने के लिए समझा दिया कि ये पॉइंट वहां पे आएगा. वहां पे LIC कंपनी या जो भी कंपनी आपको पेमेंट देगी वो TDS काटेगी. तो आपको नहीं काटना. आप एज एन एसएससी अगर आपका अमाउंट ऑफ मेच्योरिटी इज गेटिंग टैक्सेबल और आई शुड से लाइक इट इज नॉट गेटिंग एग्जेम्प्ट अंडर सेक्शन 10(10)(d), then the payer company will deduct TDS under 194(da).
ओके.
वो अभी TDS के चैप्टर्स होंगे ना उसमें क्लियर आ जाएगा. बट वहां पे जब होगा एटलीस्ट यू कैन रिलेट कि विच व्हाई इट इज गेटिंग टैक्सेबल बिकॉज और व्हाई TDS इज गेटिंग डिडक्टेबल बिकॉज इट इज गेटिंग द मेच्योरिटी अमाउंट इज गेटिंग टैक्सेबल इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द assessee. Generally it is not taxable अगर premium within the limits हो, but premium are higher than the limits which we discussed, it would be taxable. ठीक है. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So payment in respect of insurance policy covered. Payment. It's getting hard. ULIPs covered. इसके अलावा annuity plans भी covered, deferred annuity. एक जगह annuity plans है, where are they? नेक्स्ट इज कंट्रीब्यूशन टू अप्रूव्ड एन्युटी प्लान्स। बहुत सारे एन्युटी प्लान्स हैं LIC के अप्रूव्ड है, मतलब जो जो इस लिस्ट में होंगे, जैसे बाय नोटिफिकेशन विच हैव बीन कम, न्यू जीवन धारा 2, न्यू जीवन अक्षय इमीडिएट एन्युटी प्लान, इजी रिटायर एन्युटी प्लान, जीवन अक्षय 7 ऑफ LIC, बहुत सारे ऐसे प्लान्स हैं। whenever you go and go to any insurance agent for the plans, ask whether the premium which I'm paying will it be eligible for deduction under 80C or not. Ask for the document copy whether it would be eligible for not. And these are the list. Easy retire annuity plan है टाटा AIG का, immediate annuity plan है ICICI Prudential का। So उसके अलावा कोई और annuity plans as such 80C में eligible नहीं है। So make sure that you don't go blindly on any annuity plan and you think it is an eligible deduction under 80C. The answer would be no. ठीक है? The ones which are listed and one which you can see on your screen, खाली वो ही annuity plans हैं which are eligible for deduction. So if you will make a premium contribution उसमें, you will get the deduction, otherwise you will not get the deductions. ठीक है? Sorted. अभी annuity insurance plan से clear हो गया. SWP, Ankita, what are you, Ankita, SWP for what? Is it what?
Ma'am, that annuity for annuity, is it also called that systematic withdrawal plan?
No, that is different. The systematic withdrawal plans बोल सकते हो, but better to say it as an annuity plan and better to ask your insurance that whether these are covered for 80C or not. Okay? Okay. So next is education expenses. What are next is allowed under your 80C? First is life insurance premiums, annuities, ULIPs, which we covered up, एक ही साथ. Next, which is coming up is your education expense. One by one, we'll pick up all, maybe not in any particular order. Now, education expense किसका? Education expense of your as an individual for the tuition fees. Tuition fees kiski? Not of myself, but for my any two children, whether dependent on me or not. So tuition fees kahan ki? So tuition is not that tuition which coaching center wala tuition. Tuition is a tuition of a full-time education, for any university, college, school, other educationals in India. So अगर आप कभी भी कोई curriculum fee या school fees if you fill, you will see that the fees has a lot of breakup. It has some development fee component, it has some uniform component, it has tuition fee component, which is for the core education. So whatever you're paying for the core education, that component would be allowed as deduction to you. So as an individual, I would be paying the tuition fees of my 2 children. So if I have 3 children, I will be only be able to claim for my any 2 children. If I have 5 children, then again any 2 children. If I have 1 child, then for only 1 child. और फुल टाइम एजुकेशन का मिलेगा. फुल टाइम एजुकेशन कहीं से भी हो सकती है, इवन नर्सरी, प्री नर्सरी, दीज आर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड फुल प्ले स्कूल, दीज आर ऑल्सो फुल टाइम एजुकेशन. ठीक है, बट ट्यूशन फीस कॉम्पोनेंट वुड ओनली बी अलाउड. एंड सेकेंड थिंग विच यू हैव टू रिमेंबर इज द school or the college or the university should be in India, which we are talking about. मैम बीकॉम का भी मिलेगा, हाँ बीकॉम का भी मिलेगा, बट नॉट कोचिंग वाला, जो फुल टाइम एजुकेशन, वो जो फुल टाइम सर्टिफिकेशन दे रहा है उसका, वो. गॉट इट. नेक्स्ट इज योर एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड. व्हाई दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट? अब HUF को नहीं मिलेगा एजुकेशन एक्सपेंस ऑफ ट्यूशन फीस, इट इज ओनली फॉर इंडिविजुअल. Why this is important for you to understand all those things? Because when you will be with your client or otherwise, I know paper के sense में तो मैं बस आपको बोल दूँ remember the list. I don't want to do that. I want you to dug deep into understanding it, because when you will be having your clients, I want you to suggest them that okay, if you have children, you're already paying tuition fees for it. You might not need to do further investment for tax saving. ये सारे tax saving investments है, right? But आज की डेट में क्या है, पीपल फॉर देयर ओन सोशल सिक्योरिटी आर हैविंग पॉलिसीज, चाहे 1,50,000 से अबव डिडक्शंस हो रहे हैं या नहीं हो रहे हैं, राइट? दे स्टिल हैव देयर पॉलिसीज गोइंग बिकॉज दे वांट देयर लाइफ टू बी इंश्योर्ड, they want their retirement to be ensured, so policies are naturally going. So if you already have that vision that I want my retirement to be insured, my policies to be insured, my health to be insured, my life to be insured, and you're paying it not for the core purpose of tax saving, but you're just generally paying it, at least have an optimum utilization and at least claim it for the tax saving purpose. Okay. Now we come to employee provident fund. Now employee provident fund, ये किस एंगल से समझना है? एज अ एम्प्लॉय, एम्प्लॉयर के एंगल से नहीं समझना. व्हेन अ कंट्रीब्यूशन इज मेड टू एन एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड by the employer, it is his deduction under section 36, remember? But from the perspective of employee, when I have to understand, I am the person who, the assessee, I'm the employee, and whatever contribution which I am making to the provident fund, I will get the deduction up to 12% of my salary. Simple. Up to 12% of my salary. Next is public provident fund. Now public provident fund में क्या है? If suppose I am an employee, there is no provident fund scheme there going on, or if suppose I am not an employee, but I want to make a contribution into provident funds, because provident funds में क्या है? You make a contribution for a certain period and then your retirement fund is getting accumulated, right? So now provident fund, if I'm making a contribution, I will be able to claim the deduction out of it. This is for public. This is for public. But remember, इसमें होता है कि minimum 500 जाना चाहिए, and I can open a provident fund account again in my name, in my spouse name, or in my children name, and HUF can open that account in the member's name, because public provident fund एक member, एक individual के लिए बनेगा, मतलब एक human being के लिए create होता है, so they can open the provident fund in their member's name. So someone asked me, ma'am, can we open PPF in a question can come like this? Can we open a provident fund account in the minor child name and still we get it? Yes. Can we open a provident fund account in a unsound mind case and still we get it? Yes. Ma'am, we are the guardian, and we are the child is not ours, but we are the guardian or the legal guardian of the children. Still we will get the deduction? Yes, still you will get the deduction. Okay, so ऐसे ऐसे questions आ सकते हैं to confuse you, so you have to be very careful, and this will only come when you have understood it. So public provident fund clear? ऐसे एक होता है superannuation fund. Superannuation fund is again an unapproved superannuation fund. Approved superannuation fund में, which is again a retirement fund, उसमें if you'll be making any contribution as an employee, you get a deduction here. As an employer, get a deduction in the section 36. Next is ELSS and approved superannuation fund. Next is ELSS or mutual fund. Anyone is making contributions in ELSS or any mutual funds or LIC at your stage, or your parents are doing? If anyone is, please make sure that you take good benefit out of it. ELSS, equity linked saving schemes or units of approved mutual funds. इसमें deductions खाली individual को मिलेगा when they are investing in their own name. When they are investing in their own name. First of all, what is ELSS? This was a scheme in 2005. It came, correct? It is like you have to open it an account with 500 rupees and in multiple of 500 rupees. And then it's like a mutual fund only. And then they further invest in equities. इसमें lock-in period होता है 3 years का. And after that lock-in period, you have an option to sell it or not. Or उसमें you have to make a contribution. Tax saving in mutual funds आते हैं, उसमें you have to make a contribution and you will get the deduction. Mutual funds may do you people invest in mutual funds? Do you people invest in equity? No? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So make sure that if you are investing in mutual funds, people invest in different types of hybrid funds, etc. If you'll be investing in your equity linked म्यूचुअल फंड्स ELSS, वहां पे लिखा होगा एलिजिबल टैक्स, इसको टैक्स सेविंग म्यूचुअल फंड भी कहते हैं. इट वुड बी रिटन देयर. देन प्लीज डू नॉट फॉरगेट टू क्लेम द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ ATC. और अदर स्पेसिफाइड म्यूचुअल फंड्स कौन से हो गए? वो अप्रूव्ड है जो CBDT में, जिसमें अगेन सेबी का अप्रूवल है, सर्टिफिकेट्स है, वो सब अलग अलग है, जिसमें 25% कैपिटल उन्होंने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स कंपनी में डाले. दैट यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर, यू जस्ट हैव टू रिमेंबर अप्रूव्ड म्यूचुअल फंड फॉर ATC और इक्विटी लिंक्ड सेविंग स्कीम्स. नोटेड. नेक्स्ट, चले आगे. अभी तक कोई डाउट? अभी तक तो सिंपल सा लिस्ट चल रहा है. Next on the list is Nabard bonds. Again, and I'm saying, students, you can invest in all, you can invest in one, not necessary that you have to invest in all to claim the benefit. Maybe if you put the money, you can claim the benefit. So Nabard is National Bank for Rural and Agriculture and Rural Development. उनके bonds issue होते हैं. Time to time the bonds issue come. If you invest in those bonds, you will get the deduction out of it. Simple. Next is your कुछ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज के सिक्योरिटीज इफ यू टेक एज एन इंडिविजुअल, इक्विटी शेयर्स या डिबेंचर्स इफ यू टेक, उन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज विच आर एलिजिबल अंडर 80IA4 which are ultimately into power generation etc. उनके डिबेंचर्स और इक्विटी if you take, you as an investor make such investments, then you are eligible for deduction. These are those companies which are basically covered under 80IA, which you will see slowly. Okay. Then next coming up is your house related benefits. Education related covered, housing benefits. अब इस हाउसिंग बेनिफिट्स बेसिकली इज फॉर परचेज ऑफ अ प्रॉपर्टी. बहुत सारे सेक्शंस अभी आगे भी आएंगे, बट इसमें यहाँ पे यू गेट अ रिडक्शन व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग अ रीपेमेंट ऑफ अ लोन for the which you took for the purchase or construction of a residential house property. उसके साथ साथ not only this repayment of loan, principal component, not only that, but also stamp duty, registration fee, whatever you paid in lieu of that residential house property, you get the deduction of it. उसके साथ साथ if you are making any sort of investment in any notified housing bonds, notified housing scheme, आती रहती है time to time, उसमें भी if you will make an investment, you get the reduction. But remember, whenever you're making a repayment of loan, उसमें EMI component होगा. EMI component के दो component होंगे, principal and interest. Interest will go under section 24 for house property income का computation, and principal component you can claim under section 80C. Got it? Next is your pension schemes. A pension word ना बहुत सारी जगह आएगा. Pension is under 80CCD, is under 80CCC. The pension schemes which you are here referring as pension schemes set by certain mutual funds, or your pension schemes under your tier 2. एक tier 1 national pension scheme का NPS का आएगा, which is covered under 80CCD. एक tier 2 है of national pension scheme which is covered under your 80C. If you're making investment in that, you get the deduction. If you make investments in those pension schemes, you get your deductions. कौन सी pension schemes है by mutual funds? UTI retirement mutual fund है, Reliance retirement fund है, and HDFC retirement saving funds है. Pension क्या है? Annuities and pensions are more or less same. Annuities में again there is but pension generally retirement age तक के बाद आता है. Annuities can be after a certain period also. So this is also covered. Next deduction, which is left, which is left, which is left. Next type of investment, national saving certificates. नेशनल सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट्स क्या होते हैं, एनएससी, ये इशू आता रहता है टाइम टू टाइम. अभी आई थिंक 8th इशू लेटेस्ट आया था. इसमें क्या है, इफ यू विल इन्वेस्ट इन दोज नेशनल सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट्स and the interest of it is also deemed to be reinvested and you get the deduction of it. So अगर suppose करो 10 lakh rupees आपने आज डाले national saving certificates, you're getting 8% interest out of that, which is 80,000 rupees. That also is considered as fresh investment because that is generally reinvested. और जो आप reinvest करोगे, it will be your interest income, obviously, other sources में, and also it would be your eligible income of deduction under section 80C. Also अभी 80TTB में आगे if you see, वहां पे भी you get the deduction. नेशनल सेविंग इंटरेस्ट स्कीम क्लियर. उसके अलावा एक आता है सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम. सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम में क्या है, सिंपल अगेन द सेम थिंग दैट ये सारी जनरली पोस्ट ऑफिस के थ्रू आते हैं. सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम, this is again in which a senior citizen can make the investment. उनके लिए होती है, उसमें डिडक्शंस मिलती हैं अप टू इंटरेस्ट का भी डिडक्शन मिलता है एंड द अमाउंट व्हिच यू एक्चुअली इन्वेस्ट उसका भी डिडक्शन मिलता है. बट यस, इसमें द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट द लॉक इन पीरियड इज 5 years. उसके बाद यू कैन विड्रॉ इट एनी टाइम. इफ यू विड्रॉ इट बिफोर, वट एवर यू क्लेम एज डिडक्शन विल बिकम योर इनकम. whenever इसमें सब नहीं इन्वेस्ट कर सकते, ओनली सीनियर सिटीजन इंडिविजुअल ही इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं इन द सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम. Then is your time deposits with post office and general FD of 5 years. बस थोड़ा सा रह गया, लास्ट 2 points रह गए. I think all is covered. टाइम डिपॉजिट करा लो. टाइम डिपॉजिट मतलब FD sort of with post office या general FD करवा लो with any bank for at least 5 years period. You will get a deduction for it. 5 years तक you have to, you cannot withdraw it. If you withdraw it, it becomes your income. Whatever. Again, यहाँ पे you have to see students, interest component deduction नहीं है. Contribution which you are making, the outflow which you are making, that is the deduction. That is the deduction. And last is your Sukanya Samriddhi account. So whatever amount I deposit in the Sukanya Samriddhi account, I means who? I am the person who is opening the account for a girl child. Generally the scheme is aimed कि उसकी higher education या उसकी wedding के लिए amount utilize हो. So amount is generally deposited by the parent or the guardian. My grandfather cannot open or my father cannot open a Sukanya Samriddhi account and claim the deduction for my child. I can only open the account and get the deduction for my child. Okay. So maximum deduction again is 1,50,000 ही maximum deposit होता है in a financial year. और जितना भी amount you will get on maturity पूरा का पूरा exempt होता है. Even the interest which you will get on the maturity, everything is exempt under section 10 subsection 11 10 clause 11A. This is a very interesting scheme of fixed deposit. I think almost all type of scheme has been covered. NPS tier 2 covered, Nabard covered, fixed deposits covered, infrastructure के debentures covered, equity covered, principal repayment covered, tuition fees covered, सभी cover हो गए, right? So please go through it once, students. अगर कहीं कोई point में you want to ask again, I'll be happy to take it.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have 2 doubts.
Yes.
या मैम, जो सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम है, क्या इंडिविजुअल अपने पेरेंट्स के लिए ले सकते हैं?
नहीं, जनरली वो सेविंग स्कीम सीनियर सिटीजन के लिए होता है, क्योंकि पेरेंट्स है ही नहीं ना। एटीसी में ओनली चाइल्ड है, ओनली स्पाउस है या सेल्फ है, पेरेंट्स कवर्ड ही नहीं है। सो इनफैक्ट दिस इज अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। अगर आपको क्वेश्चन ऐसे आ गया कि आई हैव मेड पेड अ इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम फॉर माई पेरेंट, आई कैन नॉट क्लेम अंडर एटीसी, बिकॉज एटीसी में ओनली खर्चा फॉर इंडिविजुअल, सेल्फ विच इज सेल्फ और स्पाउस और चिल्ड्रन आर अलाउड।
या मैम, एंड सेकेंड इज, अगर जो एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड में है, जो एम्प्लॉयर हमारा 12% करता है, क्या उसका भी क्लेम एम्प्लॉय ले सकता है या एम्प्लॉय सिर्फ 12% ले सकता है?
Employer, whatever employer is paying for the contribution, that is your salary, and वो सैलरी में डिडक्शन मिल जाता है बेसिकली, और आई कैन से कि सैलरी में इट ओनली गेट्स टैक्स व्हेन इट इज ओवर एंड अबव 12%, राइट? वो जो भी आपको बेनिफिट अंकिता फ्रॉम एम्प्लॉयर मिलता है, दैट इज ऑलवेज योर सैलरी। हियर वी आर टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाट यू आर पेइंग as an assessee, and as an assessee is what you as an employee will be paying, so that is eligible for deduction.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Perfect. Anyone has any other doubt? Ginny, with Ali, Poonam, anyone has any doubt?
No, ma'am, clear.
Sure. अब
Yes.
इसमें ध्यान से देखना, कुछ कुछ स्कीम्स सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल के लिए, कुछ कुछ स्कीम इंडिविजुअल एचयूएफ दोनों के लिए। व्हेन यू विल रीड इट विल गेट इट। कहीं कहीं पे वेयर यू आर मेकिंग अ कंट्रीब्यूशन फॉर योर सेल्फ, पेरेंट्स, sorry, not parents, self, spouse and children, you will get the deduction. You can mark it, I'll quickly say it कि कौन कौन सा you can open it for your family as in immediate family. See, LIC, life insurance premium, if you'll be making it for family members, you will be allowed as deduction. Family members मतलब spouse and children or yourself. ठीक है? Similarly, public provident fund, mark it, allowed for spouse, children, self. उसके अलावा खुद के लिए ही कंट्रीब्यूशन करोगे तभी अलाउड होगा। सुकन्या समृद्धि अकाउंट फॉर गर्ल चाइल्ड, इफ यू मेक, यू विल गेट द रिडक्शन। यूनिट लिंक्ड इंश्योरेंस प्लान फॉर स्पाउस, चिल्ड्रन, सेल्फ, अलाउड। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड्स, यूलिप्स, अलाउड फॉर स्पाउस, चिल्ड्रन, सेल्फ। उसके अलावा चिल्ड्रन ट्यूशन फीस, ऑब्वियसली चिल्ड्रन ट्यूशन फीस है तो इफ यू हैव टू मेक इट इन द नेम ऑफ चिल्ड्रन ओनली, देन ओनली इट वुड बी अलाउड। बस। उसके अलावा सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम खुद के लिए करना है, एफडी खुद के लिए करना है, रीपेमेंट ऑफ होम लोन खुद का होना चाहिए। सिर्फ ये जो चीजें आई टोल्ड, प्लीज मार्क इट। यू वांट मी टू रिपीट, आई रिपीट इट अगेन, प्लीज लेट मी नो।
मैम, इन लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी अगर हम अपने पेरेंट्स का भी इंश्योरेंस पे करते हैं तो वो भी अलाउड होता है ना?
नहीं नहीं, तभी स्टार्टिंग में ऐसे कि हर एक सेक्शन में डिफरेंट डिफरेंट मेंबर्स आर कवर्ड। यहाँ पे एटीसी में जहां जहां अलाउड है फॉर फैमिली मेंबर, दैट ओनली मीन्स स्पाउस एंड चिल्ड्रन। पेरेंट्स का इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम फॉर लाइफ इज नॉट कवर्ड। पेरेंट्स का मेडिकल प्रीमियम इज कवर्ड, दैट इज इन एटीडी, बट पेरेंट्स का इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम इज नॉट
Yes,
देयर।
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now I clear. Actually, I remember the limit and यानी दोनों को मर्ज कर दिया, एटीडी और एटीसी को।
यही सबसे बड़ा कंफ्यूजन ही इसी में है।
Yes, ma'am. Now clear, ma'am. Thank you.
क्लियर? तो ऐसे इसमें सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ही इन ऑल दीज डिडक्शंस इज समटाइम्स यू रिमेंबर, ओ दिस इज फॉर पेरेंट, ओ दिस इज, और कुछ कुछ सेक्शन में इट वुड बी रिटन जस्ट पेरेंट एंड कुछ कुछ सेक्शन में इट वुड बी रिटन डिपेंडेंट पेरेंट्स। तो दिस इज व्हाट नाउ वुड बी एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम यू पीपल टू रिमेंबर कि कहाँ डिपेंडेंसी क्राइटेरिया है, कहीं कहाँ पे नहीं है, वेयर चिल्ड्रन एंड स्पाउस आर कवर्ड, वेयर इट इज नॉट कवर्ड। सो दैट्स व्हाई आई highlight it at the beginning of the section so that you can make a note in front of the section bada bada that this is only available for so and so period. I'll repeat it again quickly. LIC allowed for self, children, spouse. Deferred annuity plans allowed. Public provident fund allowed. Sukanya Samriddhi only girl child. This tuition fees only children. Then ULIPs allowed for self spouse children. Self spouse children, हाँ। उसके अलावा बाकी इन्वेस्टमेंट the individual has to make in his own name to get the benefit. उसके साथ साथ प्लीज मेक one more note of the minimum lock-in periods. LIC के लिए मिनिमम लॉक इन, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी के लिए मिनिमम लॉक इन पीरियड इज 2 years. ULIPs के लिए मिनिमम लॉक इन पीरियड इज 5 years. वो जो हाउस प्रॉपर्टी रीपेमेंट जो आप क्लेम करोगे उसको यू कैन नॉट सेल इट फॉर 5 years. You cannot transfer it for 5 years. And FD and senior citizen saving account 5 years. ठीक है, this all with ATC is covered and total deduction which you can claim under ATC is 1,50,000.
मैम इक्विटी सेविंग स्कीम के लिए लॉक इन पीरियड 3 year बताया था ना आपने?
हाँ, वो जनरली 3 year ही था. एक सेकंड, कैन जस्ट चेक क्विकली.
Yes, ma'am, you have told 3 years.
हाँ वो हाँ इक्विटी लिंक सेविंग स्कीम के लिए जस्ट लेट मी चेक वंस अगेन. अगर हाँ, लॉक इन पीरियड इज 3 years.
मैम और ये इंडिविजुअल के खुद के नेम के लिए होना चाहिए, राइट? नॉट फॉर
हाँ.
स्पाउस एंड चाइल्ड.
नॉट फॉर स्पाउस एंड चिल्ड्रन का वो आई रिपीटेड दैट लिस्ट, वो वही वाला है खाली. ठीक है. So that's it. Next class में 80CCC and 80CCD basically is an important section which if I start now will take good 15-20 minutes. So वो हम next class में start करेंगे and we'll start with 80CCD and we'll try cover all the one in relation to payments. Plus, what else? We'll even cover the incomes wala important sections, common sections. And then on the next Tuesday's class, so Friday ko we'll be meeting, and then Tuesday ko when we'll be meeting again, usme we will cover the baki questions, and I'll try to do the full-fledged questions with you for deductions. Okay? Baki provisions hai important, and then we'll do the full-fledged question for deductions. But next class definitely would be very interesting because बहुत सारे sections होंगे और from one section to another you will find relatability also, so it would be very good. It would not be boring as set off. So I hope you will like it. So see you all in the next class. Till then, please take care.
No, ma'am,
And
set off में भी बहुत मजा आया actually.
chalo, that's great because set off का मुझे honestly I used to feel it as a very boring chapter, but that's great. So see you all in the next class. Thank you so much, Ginny, Ankita, Mitali, everyone who's online. Thank you so much, Poonam, and see you in the next class. Good night.
थैंक यू मैम, बाय.
Yes.